Represento las calles de mi tierra. Mi bandera, ay, mi bandera. Puerto Rico y todos los latinos. Sonamos donde quiera.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. What's going on? Welcome to the Sports Jedi Network channel. We are Latinos with Wrestling Voices. The one and only PGA Chris, BX Sports Jedi Kev. What's up, Chris? Buenas tardes, man.
What's up, man? Happy Saturday. Yeah. In 1 week, Thanksgiving's right around the freaking corner. Time is flying. Last Saturday before Thanksgiving. So we're here. This week in wrestling. A couple exciting things, a lot of boring things, a lot of stuff up and coming today. So we'll talk about it. We're gonna break into a lot of things today. I'm ready for it.
All right. Thanks for everyone that's following us on X, on Truvo, Kick, Rumba, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, and on Twitch. Of course, everyone on the YouTube platform. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the love. This is the month of gratitude, although not just the month of November. Every day should be a day of gratitude. So we are being thankful for you guys for watching along, for helping us grow in this journey in professional wrestling, giving our opinions, our thoughts, and just building a wrestling community, man. We appreciate everyone, each and every one of you guys. Gracias, un millón. Thank you a million. And let's get into this, man. Monday Night Raw. And something that we should be thankful is John Cena last time at Madison Square Garden. You know, all the memories, all the moments at that world's most famous arena. I'm thankful that I've been to a lot of events at the Garden, not just wrestling, you know, basketball, hockey games, and so forth. So I'm thankful for that arena and that venue. John Cena kicks off like he did at Boston at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. He comes in, cuts a promo, and before we get onto the nuts and bolts, I think that was the right move there for John Cena to open up Madison Square Garden. What are your thoughts on that one? And go right into it.
Yeah, I like, this Monday Night Raw was one of the most exciting wrestling shows, period, that I've actually been kind of looking forward to because just my personal opinion, right? Nobody has to agree with me, but I think wrestling overall as a whole hasn't been clicking all over the globe. So to see it's exciting Monday Night Raw overall was really good. But I said this to Kev off air, just talking around bullshitting. Every time us going to New York for the Slammiversary, it feels cool when wrestling's in New York, and it's always felt like that. But like when they're in New York, it feels like it's going to be a really good show. Like everybody's excited to be there. It's Monday Night Raw. It is on net. So it feels bigger now than ever when they go to Madison Square Garden. So I expected this show to be pretty good, but no, Cena starting the show was good. Obviously, his last Monday Night Raw, he started the show in Boston the week before. And it was important for him because obviously he just won the Intercontinental Championship the week before, so he had to explain himself. Obviously, with Dominic going out, I knew this was going to happen. Some type of rematch at Survivor Series, which it ultimately does make the most sense. He does not need to go into his last match as the Intercontinental Champion. It's not going to help him, and if really depending on who his last opponent is, which I still think, I know everybody's saying it's going to be Gunther, and I hate to fall on that train too, but I've been saying this for a while, and I still think that's who it's going to be. So I'm just playing in my head right now that let's just say it is going to be him. It's not going to help either of them. Now, and again, Dominic's still, I don't think they're done with Dominic with the Intercontinental Championship. There's stuff that they want to do with Rey and Finn. So this was a good way to get Cena his, last championship that he needed to get his Grand Slam. Boom, boom, boom. So I liked what they did. They set up for Survivor Series. They did something last night or that Monday with Sheamus, Rey, and Cena, which, I mean, talking about three guys that I grew up watching. I mean, I was there when Sheamus and Cena had their first interaction. Obviously, and dude, it was so cool to see those three guys team up. Obviously, the Judgment Day is going to go out there, right? They're going to take the pin. But it's all building up for Cena and Dominic at Survivor Series. So I like the way they opened it. I like the match that followed by, and I'm excited to see their second one-on-one match, third match, as a whole between Cena and Dom at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I like what you said there, especially when Dominic comes out and said, "Not tonight." I was like, "Oh," because we were like, "Ah," because going into Madison Square Garden, I thought WWE had an opportunity to make two wrestlers tonight in John or headline big time with John Cena and Madison Square Garden. Netflix announced before the show even started that John Cena will be defending his Intercontinental title. Oh, he's gonna. It didn't say that he was gonna be in the in-ring action. So okay, who could take on John Cena that's not in the tournament, and we're gonna have that special entry in the tournament. So here's a chance for WWE to have a nostalgic surprise, or and also if someone. Also, if they wanted to go that nostalgic in ring with John Cena at Madison Square Garden, we were like, ooh, they had two birds with one stone. And again, just because they don't do it creatively the way we draw it out in our brains or on our mind doesn't mean it was not a bad idea either. And I also like when Dominic says, and then when Dominic came out, I was like, oh, we're going to get Dominic and John at Madison Square Garden again. And then how is it going to then another possibly in San Diego or what they're going to do with John? Because at that time, we did not know who was the final five to fill out the men's Survivor Series WarGame matchup. So there was a lot of pieces of the puzzle not in place. So we're like scrambling which way creative is going and yada, yada, and all that good stuff. But then when we see the setup for that 6-man tag, all right, some people wanted to see. There wasn't enough time to see John Cena Rey Mysterio match. Some people thought it might have happened in San Diego. Triple threat was thrown out there with people amongst the wrestling community having that conversation. Also, to see Sheamus and John Cena. Does Sheamus run the gauntlet and win the tournament and take on John Cena for that Intercontinental title? Even at Madison Square Garden, maybe he had a match. That was something that people were fantasy booking before the night started. But like you said, the 6-man tag, they play the hits with you had the 6 or what is it, 15 hands, 5 knuckle shuffle, all that good stuff. They play the hits. They did the wonderful stuff with Rey Mysterio. The crowd got their house show moment against the Judgment Day. You got Finn Balor versus John Cena in the ring too, so you kind of hit that as well. And JD McDonough with John Cena in the ring as well, for some moves back and forth. So it kind of hit all the pace. It checked the boxes and it left something for San Diego. Now anything, and I like what Dominic Mysterio said, not on your turf, not with the puppets and creative. You're going to do it in my hometown in San Diego. And you know what? I kind of want to see now in the final PLE in a stadium for John Cena defending the Intercontinental Champion against Dominic Mysterio. You know what? Check the box. I kind of want to see it.
Oh yeah, I want to see it as well, and I think them being in San Diego obviously could lead something between him and Rey eventually. Again, they did that whole promo thing with each other 2 weeks ago, so that wasn't for nothing, right? And I think we know Rey's on his last leg. He hasn't officially said anything, right? I think retirement, AJ Styles, all this. I think he's not going to announce anything, but I think he's slowly winding down, and I think he wants his last thing to be with Dominic. So maybe this is just ways to build for that. I don't know, but I could definitely see Rey being involved in their match. But I ultimately think, obviously, Dom's going to win. But it's going to be a good match. Good match inside Petco Park. So I saw some people. There's a guy that lives across the street from Petco Park, and he's been showing little glimpses of the construction in the stage. Kind of interested, kind of curious. I guess they're coming from the dugout. That's gonna be where they come out, and I'm curious. I'm just curious to see how they do the stage because it's in a baseball field. It looks like they're using majority of left field to do it. So it's I don't know. I'm curious to see how everything looks, but I think it's gonna be a good show, and I think that could be one that opens it. Honestly, that could be the one that opens it. Get the crowd hot. You got 2 WarGames matches later on. Obviously, they like to start with the women WarGames matches. They like to start with women specialty matches anytime Royal Rumbles, all that stuff. So I wouldn't be minded to that either, but this would be a good opener. You got Cena, you got your hometown guy, boom. So we'll see.
We'll see where that goes with that. Let me ask this. I know we're going to do our review or our predictions show for WarGames. Do you see John Cena? Actually, do you see Dominic winning it clean? because it's a tough one, because I don't know if someone interferes, like someone comes out to help Dominic. There is no payoff because John is retiring. So it's a tough one. I'm interested to see how they get to that
I
finish.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because again, I don't really think Judgment Day is fully on his side. So I can't see any of them really helping. I could see a certain scenario. I don't think Cena's gonna win, even if Ray's out there distracting anybody. So maybe they do it some way that Ray gets. I don't know. I don't know how they can do that one.
Remember this name, and we've seen it before, and I don't know if there's a good payoff. Santo Escobar. Just remember
Okay.
that. Just remember that name, Santo Escobar's floating out there. Something to do. I don't know if he's gonna come back a heel, baby face, whatever. Because Ray seems too cookie cutter. Like, oh yeah, Ray's coming out, but Santo Escobar. I don't even know, or Liv Morgan. I don't. Now there've been rumors of
Yeah.
Liv possibly, some here and there, and she's a big admirer of John Cena. So
Mhm.
who knows? Admire it, but doesn't mean that she's not gonna be there. Just being some way somehow in that last program. For her, it will mean the world for Liv as well. So we'll put that pin on that because we'll do that on our breakdown. Stephanie Vicaire comes out and Nikki Bella attacks her, beats her up, pretty much stating that she wants that title. You know what? If that's something to build for War Games, it didn't really hit for me. Like, oh, okay, all right. Stephanie, you're this badass girl, and then you just got hit from behind, and you stood there with the most weakest shot to the back, and you just stood there like you dropped dead for like 15 minutes. All right, it's just building. It. You know what it served for a match for War Games. People are rolling their eyes why Nikki Bella needs to wrestle Stephanie Vicaire. Stephanie Vicaire needs opponents to wrestle on a PLE so you could feel special about her title range. Because if she don't wrestle no one, she turns into Julia with her United States title.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I think I'm not somebody that likes Nikki Bella. I mean, it's so obvious. But I mean, let's not sit here and deny that she didn't kind of do her thing against Becky overseas. I mean, she kind of proved that she could have a decent match with a top champion. I don't think her going against Stephanie Vicaire is a bad thing. Again, I do not like Nikki Bella at all. But it's like, dude, she at the end of the day, you can the names sell itself. That's why, again, we'll talk about that later, but that's why AJ and Becky doesn't need a title. AJ Lee. That's why they don't need the title. This is the same thing right here. Nikki doesn't need to win this thing. She just needs to put Stephanie over because her name value sells itself. That's all it is. That's all it is. And if this is, Brie Bella's always talking on her podcast that she wants one more run. I don't know how that works, with I don't like to play this game, but with Danielson and all that stuff, with him being over there, I don't know how that works. But if she wants to come in and do a little something, that's probably what it's for. I don't want to see it, but that's probably what it's good. Probably what it's for. Okay, but at the end of the day, look, it's Nikki Bella. She's gonna put over Stephanie, and it's not gonna be a terrible match. So take this from somebody who cannot fucking stand the girl. It's not gonna be that bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nikki Bella wins the title at
I
Texas
see.
Park.
I would. I cannot see. It would just feel like what was the point of putting it on I don't know. Like, you're going in the Rumble season. Like, I think Nikki was there. I don't think she's there for that long. I don't know. Now that you bring that up, it is hard because I don't see it. But again, name value sells itself, right? Like, it could. Oof. I don't know. You got me. You got me a little thinking on that one.
Chris, this is 2025 with all this creative.
No, I know.
We just saw Mike Santana lose after building him since January, going through the whole entire order for beating the system, going through Ali in order for getting involved in that triple threat, getting bamboozled there, and then going to Lowell, Massachusetts and winning. And then his first night as champion defends it against Ryan Nemeth and then loses it to Kazarian. Nothing surprises me. And they're
I
supposed to
agree.
say the money's in the chase. He's been chasing since January. And now they say, they're building the biggest baby face. Stephanie Vicaire, she hasn't had no adversity, no struggle, no hard times, no, from everything has been, as soon as she got there to the main roster, kind of piece of cake. Even NXT, double champion, winning the Women's Evolution Battle Royal, going here, there. Where has been the struggle for Stephanie Vicaire? And now if you take Bella, Nikki Bella, to do that and win, and listen, I'm not an advocate for it, but I'm just putting it out there. What if they're thinking that way, where they give it that one title run here until Royal Rumble, and Nikki Bella's the champion? It's we'll see. Wouldn't surprise me one iota, especially what we're seeing across the board in all of professional wrestling, guys. So so speaking of something that in professional wrestling we thought we'd never see, the return of Gunther's music from Walter from NXT UK. It was a little bit of a tweak of his modified entrance music. I enjoy that. I love that. I believe it's Symphony number 9 for the ring general. But his opponent made a lot of headways. The returning Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth from TNA. To see that there, what's your thoughts of seeing Ziggler?
Ziggler versus Solo?
No, versus Solo. Excuse me. I totally botched that one.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you're good. You're good. A lot of wrestling this week. You're good.
Yeah,
but
I should have wrote it down.
Ziggler versus Solo. Look, I'm gonna apologize to our playback community. I was wrong. I convinced you guys Ziggler's not no way in hell. There were a couple people, bro. Ziggler's. I'm like, you guys are.
They were.
Guys are delusional. So I'm sorry. Whether it was Tony, that's the one that stuck out. I was wrong. Ziggler made a great return. He looked fucking phenomenal. The crowd really, really they loved it. And he's so good, dude. Like, we love TNA, and we're so lucky to have Nick Nemeth with TNA helping that shit grow. But he should be there every week in that spot. I mean, he's so good, bro. He's one of those guys that, and I heard a couple people say this, and I've always felt this way. Like, if he wasn't so good at putting people over, he'd be in the main event scene. They took advantage of him. He was so good at putting people over, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna test you. If you can have a good match with Dolph, we'll rock it. We'll send you to the next level instead of sending Dolph to the next level. That's why it hurts seeing him like this, because I'm like, damn, bro, he should be there every fucking week. But this was so. It was fun. It was good. He didn't have a long match. Him and Solo had a good match for never being out there with each other. It was
I correct you. They have had matches in NXT 2.0.
Oh, 2.0. 2.0. That's right. They have had matches in 2.0. He was the champion. Yes, with Bobby. Yes. He's had.
That's why there was good chemistry. They were good. They had good chemistry. They have good chemistry with one another, or even working in the Performance Center at that time with Solo.
Okay.
See, everyone tends to forget Solo's run in NXT 2.0. The guy was called the street. He was called the street champion. He was a badass.
He was a good. He was a really good North American champ too.
Before capturing the any singles title, Solo Sikoa had a lot of. He was on that Braun Breaker trajectory like a badass. We never got to see those two go at it at NXT down in Orlando in the 2.0 era, because they kept them apart, and then Solo got elevated. And he didn't go against Carmelo and all that good stuff.
I don't want to get off subject real quick, but
no,
because I didn't watch the 2.0 era, so I might have missed their old. Do you think Solo got called up too early?
Solo got injected. No, Solo got called up correctly, but getting in the ring and in a program that he could never still recover with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes did not elevate his career. Cody Rhodes stumped it. To everyone thinks he's a joke, and they roll their eyes with Solo Sikoa. And then Jacob Fatu coming along didn't help his.
Right.
Solo was being groomed, or Solo was being presented like Jacob in NXT 2.0. He was
Okay.
he would come out the black towel, didn't speak much, head down, badass.
Mm.
We'll go in there, some woman spike, kick your ass, and see you later. No nonsense. And then coming up to the main roster, he was the enforcer. And then all of a sudden, when Roman decided to, when they took the title away from him, Solo wasn't really ready. And they didn't know if they were really going to bring Jacob in or not with the rumors. And then I think that's what happened. To me, it just stifled. They prematurely put the spotlight on Solo, where I don't think Cody really helped him get elevated by beating him. That's just my opinion.
Well, I'm happy you said that though, because you could argue now him beating a big time opponent like Ziggler actually could help him.
Yes,
it could. He's beaten John Cena before. He's in the tournament, right? Like it. I think, and again, obviously Jacob's out, which is unfortunate. I've been advocating for the man his whole MLW career for him to come to WWE, but it's one of those things too. Like, I think with him out, you could maybe do a little more with Solo. I don't really like his part or what he's doing right now with the MFTs on SmackDown. So I liked seeing him with a big time opponent like Dolph Ziggler on Monday Night Raw. It felt like a big match for him, and for him to get the win, it was really good. But overall, no, Ziggler coming out was fantastic. I love the guy. We're privileged to have him on our program. Both, Kev, me and Kev, we've had a great conversation with him. Even at the softball game, he was really cool. So happy to see Nick Nemeth back on Monday Night Raw. Look, he said he wanted nothing to do with this. He had no interest ever in doing anything. I think now more than ever, we really gotta. If your reason is, well, they said that, throw that shit out the window. We saw it twice with this. If it comes to being in John Cena's last tournament, I'll be Zack Ryder. Just go. I'll go. Fuck it. Like, so yeah, I'm really gonna, when somebody says something like that next time on our playback, I'm gonna probably have to consider it, because yeah, it was a good surprise though. A really, really good surprise. And that's what wrestling's about at the end of the day. Being genuinely surprised. I was genuinely surprised. So that was fun. And I don't get genuinely surprised anymore. We both don't.
No.
So
yes. I wanted to shout out some moves that Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph, really sold. When he hit that danger zone on Solo, I was like, oh my goodness. And then Solo kicked out. He took us on that roller coaster of emotion. I think, Ziggler's actually gonna win the match going into the second round. And then Solo kicks out the last second. But the way he ate, he didn't just eat the turnbuckle. He made love to the turnbuckle passionately when Dolph rammed right into it. Holy shnikes. He went boom. That was Bret Hart escape Bret Hart when he went into that turnbuckle. And then the Samoan spike. I mean, it's been the first time in a long time that Solo Sikoa's Samoan spike felt so distracted. So since he's been with the Bloodline as the enforcer, he turned the page there the way Nick Nemeth sold it. The young wrestlers should see how you sell. I would love Dolph Ziggler to have a conversation with Ilya Dragunov on selling, because that's how you sell, pal, for your opponents. And we'll talk about that. I have a lot to say on Friday Night SmackDown with that clown coming up. Yeah, my goodness. And he took some live rounds too. McDonough wasn't playing, but we'll get to the SmackDown portion in a second on that. So yeah, that was a good one for Dolph Ziggler. But let's talk about now, since I botched it a little bit with Gunther's return with Symphony 9. To me, this could easily be the match of the week in all of professional wrestling. Gunther versus Javon Evans. The way, the psychology, the chops, the back and forth. I know everyone wanted to see maybe Javon Evans beat Gunther there and go to the second round, a slip on the banana peel, but they were saving that moment for another wrestler in the tournament later on Friday. We're going to talk tournament before we wrap up Survivor Series, so we're going to probably jump into Friday Night SmackDown after this for the John Cena tournament only. Listen, Javon Evans, he's got this future ahead of him. We know that. I know some people elsewhere said, oh, Javon should have won and Gunther should have beat him and stretched him out and beat him up so bad after the match for losing and put him in the stretcher. You can't, guys. It sounds great storytelling, and Gunther gets back in the tournament. Javon had a match the following day for the NXT Tag Team titles. He's wrestling this evening on Saturday night for the cruiserweight or lightweight title in AAA Mexico in a triple threat with Axiom and I believe it's Octagon Junior. So there's a triple threat going on. Javon has there's no time to write him off TV for a couple of days for story time for him. So I understand why they went that route. Look, he tapped them out. He choked them out. I liked it, Chris. I don't think there's anything. What's your thoughts on the match and the outcome?
No, the outcome obviously makes sense, and I thought the match was good. I think obviously we're gonna see a lot more of Javon Evans. He's really good. I mean, he's fine. I think you could question, right? Some people are coming up, or he might be called up quickly before other people. But I mean, I like the match, dude. Even his time on like the main roster when he's done like the SmackDown stuff, like saying like he's impressive. He looks good against a lot of these guys that are, seasoned like Gunther. So it was the right outcome. It was a good showing for Javon. And I think we're going to see a lot more Javon in the future, obviously in the main roster. I wouldn't be surprised, bro, if whenever he's done doing his shit with Leon, if he just gets called up. Because I don't think they're clearly not doing a draft this year, which I think we can all appreciate that they're not doing.
I agree.
They're going to find a cool way to bring this kid up after he's done with Leon. So I think there's more to him in the future than winning this tournament. So I liked him, but it was a good showing for him. And it was easy in a sense, first opponent for Gunther.
Yeah. I don't think, listen, I as much as I would love Javon to be called up to the main roster, that means goodbye working with Leon Slater, goodbye working in TNA, goodbye possibly AAA, maybe he'll work there, but and right now they've got something organically fun between both of them, Slater and Javon. And of course everyone should aspire to go to the main roster. That's what a lot of these wrestlers want to do. Here's my one thing I'm worried about Javon. If he comes up to the main roster, we see that the main event is so heavy with 45-year-olds. There, I don't see it. And if to be honest with you, after watching the main event segment from Netflix Raw, I felt like Braun took two steps back. Bronson Reed took one step back because of the old firepower that's there in the top. It's going to be hard for young wrestlers to crack main event scene because I don't think the wrestling community wants to give up and they want to see Roman in the main event. They want to see Brock Lesnar, regardless if you pretend or you could do reactionary videos not liking Brock Lesnar come out and get the sympathy from the people with your reactionary podcast. People still want to see Brock come out. They still want to see the older guards come out here until they're fully gone. Look, we're losing John Cena. We're probably going to enact it middle of next year, AJ Styles, but you still have the other old heads. It's hard for the young wrestlers to crack that. If they could keep Javon and help bring along the ratings and bring along that partnership with TNA down in NXT, I understand the business move. The business move makes sense for Javon to stay in NXT, but the real end goal beneficial will be on the main roster, but we'll see where that goes. Look, let's talk about this tournament here. We had news come out yesterday with John Cena's tournament, and I'm glad that they didn't do the Gunther beating out Javon and taking him out as an injury, because we find out that Sheamus suffered a shoulder injury and he's going to have to bow out of the tournament. Someone's supposed to take his place this upcoming Friday in the match for the second round. It's a mystery opponent against LA Knight. Carmelo Hayes gets a victory over Big Bronson Reed via countout. I like the fact how they protected Big Bronson Reed with the countout, with the WarGames implication. Carmelo, it would have helped. I would have liked to see Carmelo get a 1-2-3 pin, a clean one on Bronson Reed, but it leaves you doubt for the next round. Oh, Carmelo fluke victory to go into the second round, or if he, or is he really gonna? Is that the motivation for Carmelo to get on a roll and tap into that hunger, that Carmelo Hayes that we saw in NXT? To want to get and beat John Cena's finals opponent. I like the story that they're telling us here with Carmelo Hayes, Chris.
Yeah, I think he deserves he deserves better. I don't want to say deserves better, but he really needs to be at a spot where people are going to take him serious, because I'm not sure if people are taking him serious.
Agree.
Even still, he needs something, man. He needs a big win over somebody to get this guy going, because again, there was a lot of momentum going on Carmelo Hayes going up to the main roster. He was their number one pick of their old draft. I mean, he I don't we talked about Carmelo Hayes for so long, and I just hope that they give him a big win over somebody meaningful, as the sun is coming into my freaking face and it's messing up my camera. So I'm gonna go fix that. But that's where I'm at with Carmelo Hayes. He needs a big win over somebody meaningful, and I still think people aren't taking him serious. So until that happens, I don't really know what's going on with Carmelo. What's gonna happen with Carmelo Hayes?
I agree with you with Melo. Melo's first introduction on the main roster was against Cody Rhodes, and I personally didn't. He put on a hell of a match, and it one went downhill. This is where I come back and I start arguing, Chris, that Cody doesn't elevate young talent. He don't elevate his opponents. He kind of squashes them in the solo. Case in point, Solo Sikoa, Carmelo Hayes. You know, every time they get an opportunity, instead of helping them help these wrestlers get over to that next level, you know. Well, last night I was sarcastically joking. Look, Cody's actually putting over a young talent, helping them get a count out for a victory. Hopefully, this helps Carmelo Hayes goes forward into that tournament. I kind of personally, selfishly, meeting Carmelo, meeting Christian, because his name is Christian, meeting Christian outside of the wrestling ring and seeing Carmelo, you know, interacting with him and seeing him. He's a real awesome dude, salt of the earth, young man, good guy. He's very humble when it comes to his fans outside of, he conducts himself like a pro. His match, I always said this at World's End with against Ricochet when he was, you know, for that for the North American title was a banger. It was just great. Carmelo is one of the he's shown a lot of potential that he's him, like he says. Hasn't really translated in the main roster. Hasn't been in the right feud. I don't know. They're starting with the Miz and all that. I hope they get past that. He's a kid from Boston, young kid. Kind of reminds me of the John Cena story a little bit. Not in a little way where he's floundering. Possibly you could see if they were to tell you in a couple months Melo has been released, not resigning his contract, but then he has this gimmick where, you know, I'm not saying he's gonna do rapping gimmick like the way John Cena, but there's something along the line that feels organically similar in a way in a parallel universe where I can see. I personally am rooting for Carmelo Hayes to be that last opponent for John Cena. Look, the building is already full. The building is sold out. People are not there. Even if it's Melo going to the finals, everyone wants to see John Cena say goodbye. And Melo versus John would be a pretty good another when they both say from Massachusetts, from Boston, and from and they say Massachusetts. It's a nice homage for both those wrestlers in the building. But like Trick Williams said, it's not the best story, is what's best for business. So I don't know right now if that's best for business, Chris.
I unfortunately I don't think it is.
I agree with you on there. So let's now get the speculation. Now, as of right now, don't want to know any spoilers. Don't care about any spoilers. I'm pretty sure that the spoilers, podcasters and folks are out there blogging and writing and taking pictures and putting it all over the social media of last night, because it was a double taping for this Friday SmackDown. There is a mystery opponent who's going to take Sheamus's place. This is a great opportunity for Joe Henry to be this mystery opponent. I have no idea what in the world they're not putting Joe Henry, period, in this tournament when he's manifested that he wants to wrestle John Cena or interact with John Cena. He's been saying it when he was TNA World Champion. And he's been saying it for the longest. You have had numerous opportunities to place Joe Henry against John Cena, especially Madison Square Garden for that title when opening, and especially now in the tournament. You have a golden parachute here to put in Joe Henry, because listen, it's not going to be Edge, it's not going to be Jericho. Could we take that out of our heads? Those
Mhm.
guys are not going to be there.
Yes.
I don't get
I
it.
don't know why people are still on the fact of Chris Jericho being there. He ain't gonna be there, guys. He's and Edge isn't gonna be there either. He's filming Percy Jackson. Tony Khan's already said he's coming back. Jericho, I mean, he's coming back, but he ain't to WWE, but he ain't gonna be in the tournament. So we're done with the surprises.
Yes.
We're
For
we're
now.
we're do- for now. I mean, we have one more, but unexpectedly, and it's I mean, it's they wouldn't do anybody like that on a big taping. So we're gonna have to wait and see because I don't know the spoiler and I don't care to see it, but it's interesting. I don't know. They got all their opponents, they got their mystery opponents out of the way. Now it's just seeing who wins it.
It's seeing who wins it because I hope. And listen, I think the special opponent, the special or the replacement for Sheamus, it's gonna be kind of we're expecting something else and we're getting something different, and I think it's gonna feel like a letdown. All I'm
Right.
asking, all I'm asking, let it be someone who hasn't participated in this tournament. Don't give me another opportunity for another wrestler because it's not gonna hit. No matter who it is, no matter who it is, I don't want to see another person get another opportunity. If they were in the tournament and they had their shoulders pinned to the mat, because everything has been clean except for the count out for Carmelo Hayes and Brick Brunson Reed. I don't want to see another wrestler in the match that already lost. Give someone else a fresh opportunity to step in for Sheamus. Someone that just missed the cuss. Even if they do the tumbler and they do the explain that to me, then at least backstage. I need Nick Aldis. You know what? We're putting some names in the balls again, and we're gonna take it. This is another golden opportunity for someone who didn't get a pick. You know, someone would like to see our truth. If it's our truth, wouldn't bother me to a degree. But it's gonna be a stirred match with John Cena. Truth brings some cool value, but we know he's gonna go in there to take the pin against LA Knight. But for LA Knight, it'll be interesting to see who he wrestles there in against for. It was supposed to be Sheamus on Night. We'll see where that goes there, because Sheamus. But you know what? Good kudos for Sheamus having his moment with John Cena in the ring as a tag team as well as they killed a lot of birds with one stone in that 6-man. One thing about Monday Night Raw that I wanted to close out. They're slowly building the women's war games. At least we know they're going to get 4 women on board because Charlotte Flair comes out with the Kindle stick. All hell breaks loose. You got 4, possibly teasing 5, especially when we see what we saw with. We know that AJ Lee is in the building, and we see where Becky Lynch put up, teasing a little bit back and forth. Let me ask this question: after Becky loses the United Intercontinental title to Maxine Dupree, let's go with that one first before we get into women's war game. I jumped a little bit ahead, but for Maxine winning that title, how important? She's the first woman Intercontinental champion to win in Madison Square Garden, period. Where there's history with that title in that building.
I don't think she's gonna hold it for long. I think she'll lose it her next defense. But that was a good. It was a good match for Maxine. It was a really good moment for Maxine. It was really good in the sense of building stories for AJ and Becky. That match essentially does not need the Intercontinental Championship, as I brought up earlier, because the names sell itself. Maybe that's why they said, hey, we're going to give Maxine a shot to see what she does, and then we can do AJ and Becky for the meantime, and then drop it to Maxine or drop it back to Becky or whoever or whatever. We'll see what happens with that, but forget going ahead. It was really good to see Maxine win. Obviously, she's somebody who, again, I've talked about her. She was really, really bad when she got caught, when she came to the main roster, started wrestling, and, she wanted to prove herself. She, trains with Natty a lot. She wanted to get better. And obviously the progress is showing. So, we'll see what she does as champion. We'll see what, she says, who she defends it against if she wins. But it was good to see her win a big match like that against a big time opponent in a big venue. Nobody really expected that out of her. And she's improved so much. So my next thing for Maxine, would be, let's see how you could tell a story with that title going into whoever opponent you face And then really that's kind of the next test for Maxine. I thought the first thing was getting her wrestling seasoned, and then now we're going to go forward with character development and so on. So curious to see about that, but overall, again, good moment for Maxine. Long time coming. So we'll see what happens.
You got to give her credit for her hard work. When she was elevated to the main roster, she had no wrestling experience. She was Sophia Carmwell. She was manager of Von Wagner, along with Mr. Stone, before Mr. Stone took over the full manager. Sophia Cromwell comes up here. They made it Maxine Dupree, the sister of Max Dupree from Maximum Male Model, all that stuff, into the Alpha Academy. Was kind of a valet. It was a weird moment for the way WWE did. It was kind of weird. You have all these talented women down in NXT, and you brought Sophia, or in this case Maxine Dupree, up. But I got to give her credit, putting in the work, Wednesday nights down at the Dungeon with Natty in Tampa, with not just her, but a group of professional wrestlers from WWE and across, for working with Natty and TJ. I always give them their flowers on this program, what they do there Wednesday nights and so forth. And you can see her hard work, bro. Her transition from whatever move into that ankle lock, she did it again against. And be honest with you, Becky has great chemistry with her. And Becky puts over a lot of great women. Out of all the horsewomen, I know Bailey's one that gets a lot of credit of being a good hand and putting other women over. Becky's the complete package of all the four horsewomen. Everyone says, "Oh, Charlotte is the end of the world." Mercedes, what she's doing, collecting titles from Rinky Dink Promotions, and really killing the women's division, in my opinion. We'll talk about that in a second. But then, what Becky does, she could be, and then the audacity of people calling her Becky Hogan. But meanwhile, when she drops titles to these ladies, they get elevated. They get their careers start. Look at Lyra. We could sit here and do a podcast about all the opponents, and after they lose to one of the horsewomen, where they go trajectory wise. Even Charlotte to a degree, because even when Rhea Ripley has taken over in full force, and and so forth. But we got to give Becky Lynch her flowers. I'm asking this question to you. You say, what is Maxine's first feud? Wouldn't you want to go something personal that will hit the heart? And we've been hearing about her forever, talking about this other persona outside of the WWE when she wrestles, and she's wrestling tonight, by the way, in AAA Mexico. When are we getting Natty? Where Natty now becomes a little bit jealous, or felt like she's been leaped over by Maxine for title opportunities, where she should be getting title opportunities, and get the heel Natty Neidhart at WWE against Maxine Dupree, and you have to feel sympathy for your baby face getting beat up, even though she went and want the people behind her to beat Natty, of the vicious badass Natty Neidhart. I hope that's a program they tell us on WWE TV. I don't want to hear it. No disrespect. I listen to the show. I don't want to hear it and bust it open on Thursday for an hour. I want to see it. I don't want to just hear it. I also want to see it.
I think that'd be perfect, because again, Natty would be somebody, if you want to make Maxine keep looking good in the ring. I mean, it's not just that Natty's good at what she does and she can make anybody look great. It's the fact that she's literally her fucking trainer and knows what she's good and not good at. So that will literally help Maxine have a good match. But I agree. I think that could be a really good first story. It would be somebody who she's comfortable with on a personal level, and it wouldn't feel, if they were to do some personal shots or whatever, it wouldn't feel like disrespectful or whatever. They're good friends. They're best friends behind the scenes. So that's something comfortable for her to get started with. And they could tell a good story. I got you to where you are now. That should be me. None of this would be possible without me. Whatever. TJ could be the producer. If he's the producer of it, holy shit, dude, that could be one of the best mid-card feuds in the program. So yeah, because he's not just because he's a good producer. He trains both of them. So they got a good opportunity. I like that. I really do like that.
And I also like the way how Maxine captured the title. You have AJ Lee come out to the ramp, that momentary distraction on Becky into that just a classic great cross body for that 1, 2, 3, and we're running. The slip of the banana peel, and good to see you kill a lot of birds with one stone because you brought AJ Lee back and you rekindle that animosity from WrestlePalooza. AJ's back, the crowd's going bananas, a new world champion. So they had a lot there at that moment to consume and people in Madison Square Garden, and it looked very important on television. That's what they did. They created a moment in the world's most famous arena on the 17th of November, 2025, and yeah, it's gonna go down in the history books in the world's most famous arena. Another a special moment. First women's intercontinental title win for Maxine Dupree. New title change there. So great job by them. And then we see later on in the evening, we see Rhea Ripley talking to AJ Lee. They asked for AJ Lee if she's back to stay. She says she really came in for her husband, but Becky just does something for her. It just rekindles a fire in her. And then Rhea says, "Can we talk?" So it looks like, and then we notice on Friday Night SmackDown, this is one thing I got to have a criticism, though, with Friday Night SmackDown. When we know that Charlotte didn't know she was going to join the female the babyface group. She came down with candlesticks on Monday night for the save, but she really wasn't officially part of the WarGames matchup. They had to sit down. They looked like they went to some kind of Five Nights of Freddy's or Chuck E. Cheese to sit down and have this conversation between them. But here's a little bit of a disconnect, Chris. I felt, are we going to war, ladies, or are we going on a double date? It felt like that. I'm sorry, I have to say it. It felt like all this. You guys are going. It's called WarGames. You're going to war. You're going with these two big women in Lash Legend and Nia Jax, who are out there, holy shit, throwing out elbows and kicks to the face, squashing them at 250 plus pounds on Nia Jax. And you're out there lovey-dovey, and it felt like holding hands and going to, you look like, it felt like they were going on a double date instead of going to getting together to go to war. That's the one disconnect I had.
I agree 100%. And, when I see stuff like that, look, I don't always agree with this, but I can see why certain people might not think the women's WarGames needs to happen.
JD
wasn't gonna say his name, but
I would.
I cannot. Well, I don't want to give that dude any more attention that he already has, but he's not wrong in this situation right here, because the buildup has not been what it needs to be. It's kind of weird. No one really knows what team they want to be on. It seems like let's go like it is a little bit of a disconnect with the women's build, and I think even with the men's it still was, and I think what we got at the end of Raw excites people, but they don't have that with the women right now. Like the last two women's WarGames were really, really good, and the builds. But what are we gonna get again? Io Sky doing her thing again that she always does every year.
The crash can on top of the head.
Like it's just gonna be the same shit, and the build's not helping it. I'll be honest. I didn't see it at first, but not just that. The whole Charlotte thing too. That's when it started to like kind of confuse.
Charlotte not being on it, not being in. Okay, I could get that. She decided to join, fine. But all the lovey-dovey, it's called WarGames. It's not Cuddle Fest. It's not Love Island that we're going to. You're going to war. Treat it like you're going to war. And granted, they'll probably be the batch of the night. We're already talking shit here on this podcast, but the women probably kill it on WarGames. When that show is over, wouldn't be surprised to say, yo, that woman.
I wouldn't be surprised either. But I'm not going to be surprised. The match is going to be good. But I'm not going to forget the build. And
of course,
if the match, is good, sometimes, it just, I don't know. I agree. It's going to be a good match, obviously, considering everybody that's in it. But I don't think the build's helping the match. For at least people being excited going into it. Maybe they'll be excited once the match happens and all that. So we'll see. I don't think you're wrong.
And then this Friday, they completed the 5, where, of course, they announced Becky Lynch, AJ Lee, and then Becky Lynch, before AJ Lee gets down the ramp, just clocks her. And then all hell broke loose. the baby faces were in the ring and they announced AJ making her way, and the heels attacked from behind, and then Becky Lynch sealed it with a punch right in the mouth. I was like, oh hell yeah! The way they close. Remember, people remember the last thing you see. And if that's the last thing you see for the war, of course they have the advantage match up coming up, possibly on Monday. They'll probably pick a person per each team to represent to try to get the advantage for WarGames men and women matches. But my point is, if they close that out and then the advantage matchup, whatever it is, and then the match goes great, I think we tend to forget a little bit of the build. But they need to build a little more stronger. Some people could argue that this build has been linking or simmering since a woman's evolution with Lash Legend and Naya, why they're together and all that. We could sit here and dissect that, but I don't think people give a shit or are invested on how they got there. And that's a little bit of an issue that it has the IWC sometimes. They pick and choose on when they want to get invested, because they've been telling that telling that story, especially with the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky and not liking Rhea Ripley. So there is story to that. They needed allies in this war game, so they went to Alexa, and Alexa's teaming up with, you could say, the greatest women's wrestler of all time in Charlotte Flair. If you're going to war, you want to go pick out a woman who has a resume like Charlotte. So there is a story there, but like you said, they didn't really lay it out or told it appealing to the masses. A certain amount of hardcore do like it, but the masses chose not to really want to invest in the story. That's another question that we could ask here for the women's build. So hopefully they get going. Hopefully they give us something. I know they're probably going to steal the show for WarGames. They'll probably be the best match of the night. We're already here complaining about the build, but it wouldn't surprise me one iota if the women kill it on that there. So we'll see where that goes there. So right now we know we got an intercontinental title matchup for Dom and John Cena. We got the women's world title, Stephanie Becker versus Nikki Bella. The men and women war game match. Let's go into the men's Monday Night Raw. Closes out with the return of not one but two, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Here's one thing I gotta say: Roman, tribal chief. Everybody puts the one. Everyone gets excited to see him. But every time he comes out, every 6 months or every like a blue moon, it kind of loses his aura. I'm starting to yawn for the first time. I'm gonna say, when he came out of Madison Square Garden, I yawned. I was like, all right, wrap it up. I hate to say that because I am a big Bloodline fan. I love what Roman did. I appreciate what Roman did, but it's starting not to feel special anymore, Chris, for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. It's hard to really get invested in somebody maybe when they're not around for a long time. But I think it gave a little bit more excitement for that match. It gave a little bit more excitement for the men's War Games match. Obviously, you got superstars in there, man. And I think with Seth Rollins not getting hurt, I think this War Games looks entirely different. So what we're getting is good with the men's war games. I think it's exciting. You have all those people in there. Brock Lesnar's right with the vision. That itself is interesting. I know a lot of people don't really like Cody kind of being the guy of war games, if he is or whatever, kind of just being there, but it makes sense overall. He has a lot of history with everybody on that side, and especially Brock. He's champion. He's teaming with Roman and Punk, so that's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be some story. Can these get a? It's kind of gonna be like last year, where you saw like Roman and Punk didn't get it. Like, it's gonna be one of those things. We'll see it's gonna be interesting. You have all those star power in there, and I don't know what team's gonna win. The Vision could definitely win this match and get them over. It's going to be a good one. I think, and I can agree with what you said about Roman to an extent, but I do think that ending makes this match more exciting going into it. I really, really do.
Oh, I don't disagree that it makes it exciting because you have the star power of wrestling in that ring. You have the most decorative, next to the New Day. You could argue back and forth if you want, tag team in WWE modern era here in the Usos. Regardless if you like Jey Uso or not, but when the Usos are together, what they've done, the longest reigning tag team and all that good stuff, their history with them. So they're in that War Games match. Cody Rhodes cut a great. I implore you. I advise you to listen to Cody Rhodes' promo last night on Friday Night SmackDown. You know, he talked about that this is his birthright. His father created War Games. And it's his birthright to be in War Games, and he made it make sense. I go, you know what, Cody, you belong there. I loved it. I love when he spoke and he meant yesterday on that promo when he got on the mic. Drew, you want some more? I love that Drew. You know the way they got Drew back into it. You know, Cody ejected himself because those are his friends, but then the way Drew was recruited by the Vision made great sense. You know, even if it was a short build, it made good sense there. And I think, listen, even if Seth Rollins would have not got injured, I think coming out of War Games, I think the Vision was going to have their ups and downs because I don't think Brock teaming up with Seth in the War Games, they would have coexist, but there would have been something coming out of it where there would have been a fracture in the Vision with Paul Heyman and the Vision there.
Yeah, Paul Heyman in the Vision, and I think Brock's just gonna make it interesting. I don't care what anybody says about him. I don't care about the outside stuff. I'm talking about what's going on in that square, in that fucking ring when I'm watching on TV. And he makes him being a part of the War Games match, part of the Vision, makes it interesting because of the Paul Heyman stuff. And again, he's going against Roman, Punk, Cody. It's gonna be story. It's gonna be story. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be really cool. They did their thing to help get invested.
My phone just rang, right? I should have had a ringtone that said Carlos Silva. You know, like since they say I'm a Carlos Silva show, you know.
That's funny.
I agree with you there when it comes to we'll find out how War Games breaks out and how they go. Man, we're gonna have the man advantage coming up. And the only thing I am a little concerned with is War Games, the way Braun just took a 2 steps back. That's all that you know. I hope when this War Game match is over, I hope that Braun gets the victory, the pin, and he's the one that goes on top. It gets a major pin. You know, I don't care if Brock F5s the shit out of Roman or whatever and do all that, and Braun gets the winning closeout. When War Games for the men is over, I'm hoping Braun is the one that gets the pin for their team. And he's the one with a spear, and he has a moment like, oh, damn. But even if the other heels set him up, if the heels are going over, if the Vision's team is going over, I would like to see Braun get the victory, not get pinned. Because then you're really pushing him back. Because the way he interrupted and he felt like he was the leader of the Vision, unhinged when he got hurt, and then they made him slow. They kind of like whoa, young man, take a step back. That's what it feels like. They neutered him a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we'll see. But I thought they ended up Monday Night Raw really, really hot.
And Friday Night SmackDown was very good. Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad show. Really if you want to talk,
yeah, we could talk a little bit about that.
Finish the WWE portion.
And then we go to the other companies, or the other shows. Look, Friday Night SmackDown, I thought did one of their really good Friday nights, and 2 weeks in a row. This week was a little more greater, although no one didn't allegedly no one shit their pants last night, unlike SmackDown in Albany. Like Matt Cardona, I heard he pooped his pants at SmackDown. I mean, he was in there with a megastar, so he couldn't held it. So, but all in all, here's one thing I want to talk about coming out, Chris. Chelsea Green and Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
They're making Chelsea feel a little bit like not afraid, or she doesn't want that smoke right now from Jade. I've said this here. I've been saying it on our platform. I think Chelsea wins the Royal Rumble. Wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea Green is the one to defeat Jade Cargill. Not now, a couple months away.
Sorry. Chelsea Green and Jade Cargill. So the match. I don't remember exactly what happened. They're having a match.
No, every time Chelsea has her segment, she sits there with Alba Fire, and she says she's the greatest women's champion of all time. And then Jade comes out and goes, "Say it to my face," and Chelsea doesn't want to say it to her face. She's hiding.
Okay, I must.
She's hiding. She's playing the chicken heel,
okay,
or the chicken baby face, because Jade is a heel, but it's showing us they're planting the seed collision course wise where Jade is becoming this intimidating champion, like a baddie. And by the way, she's recruiting baddie, and I think you have. I want, you know what? I have a comment to counteract what you. I know you don't like it. Why you don't like it? And then I'm
Because
gonna.
I've seen it already.
All right.
I've seen it in AEW and it fucking sucked.
Why? Why? Tell me.
They would just show what they would just. What's the point of the okay, let me rephrase that. What's the point? I still never understood the point of it when they did it in AEW. They would just have a bunch of good-looking women in the crowd and they just show it. They're literally just her cheerleaders. They do nothing. They don't get involved in the matches, which they're not supposed to. They're most likely fans, but they don't do anything to help the match. They show them one time, and that's it. Those are Jade Cargill's baddies supporting her. Woo! Like, if they can do something here, maybe I'm open to it, but it's like I've seen this already, and they're just her personal fucking cheerleaders.
All right. I'm glad you mentioned that. Here's the reason. Remember what we said? Was not everything that's best for storyline is best for business. This is why it's great for business. Who in the world do not want to see a group of gorgeous women at ringside to look at and cheer, even though they're there to cheer for Jade Cargill, who normally won't watch wrestling, who won't even give a shit about the collar elbow tie-ups or wrestling, but they're willing to be there looking fly, looking gorgeous for you to keep eye candy. Because, and here's the thing, you got weirdos doing AI videos of kissing AJ Lee. You know, we heard about that weirdo doing that video and got kicked out of all that. So they provide you with
about that like 2 days, like an hour or two ago. I was late.
Yeah. It's been a mess with that one. So if you got all these women from all different regions and all different towns and all different sections want to be a baddie and pay a ticket or show up to the Alive Arena to cheer Jade Cargill, and they looking fine and they're dressed up and they look eye candy. Remember, we are in this, we've said it ourselves. Sex sells. The minute you have a female on TV, and again, sorry guys, it might sound a little bit outdated or old or chauvinistic, to apologize, but I'm going to be totally honest. The minute you have a female in anything, even in the podcast world, people tune in because we bring, and again, we love our female voices on our channel, like Canary. The minute Canary on, our viewers goes ballistically up. The same thing when we have a female. Now that we have Rain, people want to tune in and hear the lady voice. They just some reason they like the opposite, and the opposite sex to be on the panel to see and watch, and it happens with wrestling. Vice versa. There's ladies that tune in to see the men. Austin Theory, Giselle Shaw. There's other guys that like to watch. There's all the type of men that want to see women and men on their TV screen. There are different strokes for different folks. That's why the baddie section works. The baddie section works. It works. It's going to work for the WWE. Now, could they sneak us an independent wrestler once in a while there to get in physical?
Yes.
Maybe we could find a Layla Gray.
Get them involved. Just get them involved. Yes, that'd be perfect. Just get them involved so they just don't. It looks like they just put people into the crowd. Yay! All right. See ya.
But here's the thing, Chris. With the popularity that independent wrestlers have with social media, the way they get themselves over, you telling me you put Alejandra Leona in there as a baddie, you're gonna know she's an independent wrestler. Or Valentina Rossi that we saw her on TNA, and saw her in Ring of Honor wrestle. She's one of the baddies. You're gonna know immediately that she's one of those ladies there as a baddie. So I kind of like what they're doing. If this is a way of sneaking in a talent up there, a Brittany Reese, if she's not there and there, there's ways of doing this where these independent lady wrestlers could get an opportunity on TV, see their name. Oh, I saw her. Wasn't she a baddie like the way they did with OVW and Layla Gray? I understand it. I get it. It sounds a little recycled, but I like it. If you look at the mentions and the interaction she's getting on X, people want to be baddies. The amount of ladies, even some of the men's out there, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit. I'm gonna have an open mind with it. I'm not gonna go with that with Jade, because now here's what Jade is doing, slowly but surely winning people over with the baddie section. She's still the heel, but people want to see that entourage around her. Like, golly, look at these hot women around this badass bitch. That's the end game when it comes to Jade Cargill. Again, I'm with you. I don't know if it's going to resonate well on television. Only time will tell. But if anyone's going to make it work production wise, is the WWE. With the machine gets behind that, they're going to make it work. But I agree, and I hear your concerns. I hear your concerns when it comes to Jade. But but I don't, hopefully it doesn't get to the level, because it did get a little bit cringy in AEW when she did it. It did get cringy to a point. But yeah, it did get cringy a little bit. It did get cringy.
Yeah, so that's why I'm open. That's what I'm saying. I'm open to this version of it, but that's what I'm saying. Get an independent wrestler in there and have it. Just get them involved.
Imagine one of those baddies is Kiera Hogan. She's a free agent. She's no longer with AEW. Yeah. She's one of those original baddies in the crowd that we don't know.
She's doing like ghetto reality shows now.
But let's say she gets an opportunity to work a little bit, a tryout with WWE.
That would be fine because she has wrestling experience. She doesn't need to.
And television.
They don't need to sign her.
No.
Just go out there.
Even a tryout performance as a baddie per performance, so she go out there and a babyface gets her conumps on Hogan, Kiera Hogan, because she knows how to wrestle. Will pay you for a couple of appearances to be the one that she causes one of the baby faces a victory. Let's say a Mia Yim. Let's throw her out there. And Kiera Hogan was, and then she wants to get her revenge, and Kiera will work. And then we don't see Kiera for a while. She gets 2 matches with BFAB or meet him and off. All right, thank you for coming. Get a nice payday, and you're off going. Or even Anna Jay, who's going to be a free agent. You introduce her to WWE. You know, even though she goes to NXT, but you introduce her as one of the baddies. Like, who's this baddie? And then she gets. There's ways where the machine can make it work. That's why I said have an open mind.
I'm having if this is a way to maybe do that where it's like, oh, like she's here, like that. Again, I'm open to it, but stuff like that will make me open to it. But the concept overall, right now, I'm just.
And I hear your concern. I'm not trying to shut you down on it.
But you have really good points on how they can get this to have them being involved with whatever Jade's doing. That's all I want at the end of the day, for it to make sense. And those make sense. So if they do any one of those 2 things we just talked about, already better than what the baddies were over there.
Or even this, Chris. You know that every couple months they bring in an NIL recruits, and they bring it to Performance Center and they introduce them to the Performance Center. This is our new NIL group that's coming to the WWE. And let's say they signed this new crop of NIL wrestlers and they introduce them as baddies. You see them as baddies on the main roster, and then they show up at NXT like, oh yeah, I was a baddie and I was inspired to come to the WWE, which storyline wise, but let's be honest, you signed an NIL deal, you were going to come to WWE to wrestle, but you could eject it in the storylines where you see them wrestle on Evolve or heck, even LFG. Yeah, I was inspired. You could even put it part of the storyline. Yeah, I was inspired by Jade Cargill. She called out baddies, and I just answered the challenge. I mean, they could bring a storyline out of that for Jade, helping her get over, inspiring women to get into wrestling. Show that you could be big, broad, and beautiful, and still kick ass in the world of wrestling. I think that's the story they're telling with Jade and her baddie section this time around. But again, I will be on your side of caution that it might not work. Here's a match that I want to talk about something that did work to a degree. The United States Open Challenges. It's been one of the best fun matches when it comes to Friday Night SmackDown. Ilya Dragunov took on someone from the main roster on Raw, none other than JD McDonough. Now, this match was great. Back and forth, hard hitting, but I got to call out when Ilya's no-selling again. Ilya continues to no-sell when he's supposed to sell, and there was a point where JD McDonough was frustrated, and a couple of live rounds from JD McDonough was given on television. There's a spot where I believe Ilya didn't sell a kick to the head or something, or one of the leg shots. He got back up. He's like, no sound. JD was so frustrated. He took him and threw him against the middle rope where Ilya's nose. You see the rope. A couple seconds later, he was causing him to bleed from his nose. These JD McDonough, I hate to say this, JD McDonough is not on the lower of the pecking order when it comes to main roster. I think he's above Ilya, despite Ilya being the United States champion. JD is a little bit higher in the pecking, and he's a little more of a veteran. If you don't sell for that veteran, he picked up a receipt. There was like 3 opportunities. If you got to watch my watch along, when I kept saying that's a receipt right there, he didn't sell it. Boom! Right afterwards, some stiff shots from JD McDonough. That's going to be an issue going forward for Ilya. He has to sell. That's why he sells at the end when he's all beat up, but you got to sell during the course of the matches and let people register the oohs and ahs of these moves that your opponents are hitting you with.
So I actually must have missed that when I rewatched a little bit of it earlier. I kind of just watched the result, but I will say, with you saying all that, I'm gathering what you just said here. Yeah, I mean, Ilya's not. We've had this conversation, right? You've obviously seen him up and close many, many times. He's not very good at selling, and with these open challenge these matches, you're gonna have a lot of people that you're gonna have to sell for. And again, I agree with your saying that JD, he is above Ilya on that main roster scene. So I'm not a fan of Ilya. I think he's super, super overrated. I think a lot of his fans now are starting to even realize that, as I've been seeing on Twitter the last couple of days. Even some of his biggest fans are starting to realize he's a little overrated. So, I mean, I hope he loses it soon. I'm the open challenges are starting to get old. To me, I feel like I don't mind open challenges here and there for anybody, any champion. But to me, when they do that every week, do they not know how to write anything else? That they just, hey, open challenge. We'll stick an open challenge in there. That will eat up 30 minutes of the show. Because that's what it feels like every week with SmackDown. That's why I haven't cared for it the last couple of weeks. And, I'll go back and watch the whole thing because I heard it was actually good. But, that's something every week that's it's not starting to hit like it was earlier. Even with Sammy. The first 2 times that if Ilya wanted to do one for him being the new champ, cool. But please don't do this. I hope they didn't film another one for next week.
Here's the thing.
We'll see.
We're wrestling fans. We get desensitized really fast. In 2025, you get desensitized. That's why Blood and Guts, they weren't, the blood didn't really, we didn't care too much because you see that every week on your show. Mm-hmm. When you start seeing the same thing a lot, you get desensitized with it. But here's the thing. I disagree with, there is a storyline when it comes to United States title. Again, they don't do a good reason, or maybe they're not explaining it well, or maybe people don't want to invest in the storyline. It's Ciampa. Ciampa is getting avoided by Ilya, who's supposed to be this guy who takes on everyone, but he's too busy calling Ciampa a jackass. And Ciampa is a hell bent to want to get a United States title matchup. It's an open challenge. Why is he not opening challenge? Because Ilya is supposed to pick and choose his opponent. So what is it? So you're trying to say that Ilya has creative control on who he challenged for the United States title? Because that's what Ciampa wants a title. Why did he? Oh, well, no, you're not getting it because you're a jackass. It's a story, but it's a stupid story. And then you see Tama Tonga always, wants a piece of that title. He doesn't say much word. He just face to face with Ilya. So it's kind of like, okay, what could we tell story? Could we say something? Just by looks, they're trying to tell a story, but this story is kind of weak, where people don't want to really get invested. And there is a story of the United States title. It's because of through the open challenge. So here's the thing that I got to say: if it's an open challenge, Tama Tonga, what are you doing dicking around? Go and get the title matchup then. If you stop with the looking and staring at him, go get it. Or maybe you say, you know what? I got family business to take care of. I'm coming for that. Something. Say something. Do something. Just standing there looking at him and maybe once in a while do that doesn't hit for me either. And Ciampa being called a jackass that's also like, okay, when is Ciampa? And I'm telling you, Ciampa, Ilya will be a good match. It'll be a hell of a matchup. That probably be 2 Fridays from now, or the Friday before John Cena's retirement match. We'll probably have that opportunity, that match there, or Tonga. I don't know. The days of Ilya Dragunov as United States champion. I don't want this to get hot potato. To be, he's not. Ilya's not my cup of coffee wrestler. I don't like him. He's always injured. I've said it many times on my show why I don't like him, all that stuff. But I got to give credit where the credit is due. The matches are entertaining. They're entertaining with the other wrestlers coming out with it. But then when you think you got Ilya finished, he hits you with with the Moscow, the torpedo Moscow, and then he pins you awkwardly, and that's the way it goes. Because after he gets his ass kicked, and you see him turning purple and red and all colors, he hits you with one move and he's done. But meanwhile, you hit him with a couple moves, he doesn't sell it. That's the problem I have with Ilya in the way his psychology of wrestling.
Yeah, I've took notice of that more and more since you've kind of been pointing it out. It's like, yeah, that guy, he's in the wrong company. But it was what it was. It was an okay match. Whatever. Ilya wins. And we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Let me answer this. I got a text. Let me go right into DIY versus Fraxium. Pretty good tag team match. Nothing special with the tag team. Although the crowd was a little quiet. Back and forth. DIY gets a victory. It's like we're getting recycled tag teams over and over with the matches there. Where are the Street Profits? I've been saying this here. One person that should be answering the United States Open Challenge is Montez Ford. His finger isn't injured. He should be out there wrestling, Ilya Dragunov. Everybody's cramming and claiming that they want to see Javon Evans in the main roster. Am I correct? They've got their older gentleman, not older because he's not old, but a more mature Javon Evans in Montez Ford who could wrestle the same. And Javon does things that we can't fan him right now because he's 21 years old. But Montez Ford is just as entertaining in his own way as a single, as a tag team, and we all want to see him as a singles. This is an opportunity to give Montez an opportunity to showcase his singles in the United States title. Even if he isn't going over, you could have it. We would have loved to see Montez answer the open challenge. He hasn't even answered any of them. Even when Sami Zayn was champion and so forth. Where is Montez Ford? He is too talented to be sidelined. I have nothing for him creative. This is where it worries me when they go 3 hours in SmackDown. What the hell they're going to do? They're going to give us an hour of Cody and then everything mismatch, with promos and stuff. We need to see Montez wrestle. He should be wrestling some more. He should be wrestling, making us feel important going forward. But I don't trust the creative with it. In a match here for the last time, it was Penta versus Finn Balor. Bro, great matchup. Penta and Finn back and forth. I was surprised that Penta got the clean victory on Finn Balor there, as Penta gets a victory with a move that should be a finisher, not bastardized where you're going to do it and you're going to bounce around like a Mexican jumping bean. It was the Canadian, a.k.a. Mexican Destroyer. He beat him with a one simple Canadian Destroyer. One simple, cold red, Canadian Destroyer, Mexican Destroyer. Not that he did it, jumped up, and he hit a sling blade or an elbow, and then they did all these other bastardizing moves. I love that way they protected the Canadian Destroyer. It should be a finisher like that for Penta. I thought this match was great.
Good win for Penta. Yeah, he got a big win over Finn. So I think now he goes to fight solo. So yeah, I like that one. Canadian Destroyer was a good finish. They're not overusing the move. So good outcome.
If I tell you in the world we're gonna get Solo Sikoa and versus Carmelo Hayes for the finals for John Cena's tournament, how disappointed will be the IWC?
Very.
I think we're getting out.
And the IWC would be very disappointed in that.
And I think we're getting that. I think Solo, because Solo has history with John, whatever, and one. But I'll tell you this: they might be disappointing, but who they will be rooting for?
Probably Mello.
And who needs this?
Yeah, I agree.
That's how the machine makes us.
Cena, so
That's how the machine makes a star. Gunther's already made. If you want the machine to get behind you and make a star, I think that's the way the machine WWE was going to go. I think so. I could be wrong. It could be always Gunther, but I think WWE in 2025 they want to piss off the IWC and all the know-it-alls that want to post and put shit ahead of time on their blogs and in their and ask you to pay $14.99 to tell you this thing while sitting on their couch and or they want to upset the apple cart when it comes to WWE. I think they want to upset the rest of the community. So yeah, I think that's how.
I think that'd be not bad for it, but for the community that wouldn't be good. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, all right. So we move on. Let's go to Gold Rush. In Gold Rush, it's a 2-night event. Gold Rush coming in, I had a little bit of eyebrow raise back and forth. The one when we watched along on the 18th, it wasn't it was a little lackluster. But then I watched it again. I wanted to, because the reason what caught my attention, Chris, was that promo between Ricky Saints and Obafemi. Obafemi cooked on the microphone. Maybe because we're in a live watch along and we're conversating with our live chat, our interactive chat, and having talks and not really listening word for word for Obafemi had to say. Obafemi in his promo battle, if you hear it, if you're really paying attention word by word, the dude ate. He cooked. He made Ricky Saint feel even tinier. Like he went back to the motherland to regroup, internship at the award-winning store and all that good stuff, and got involved and said he was coming back hungrier and a different version of Obafemi that I don't think Ricky Saints could beat and handle. I was like, oh, damn. And he said, Daddy's home. And like, oh, my goodness. That was great. I know when we watched it live, it didn't hit for us, but I watched it again. I wanted to bring that back up and elaborate on that because that was one of the main things. Look, the mixed tag team match with Thea Hale and Joe Henry versus Ethan and Chelsea was a nice little way to start the show because you got excited with that. The right people won and so forth. But I want to talk about just that particular. And then we see Trick come out and Miles and Trick interrupted just in time because I don't think Ricky had a real good rebuttal. I think Trick saved Ricky in this moment, but I'm not invested in seeing. No disrespect, Miles and Trick done everything he did. I think Trick should have been in the tournament, go get called up, but. What was your thoughts on that, there? Because have you watched it again, or no? I'm pretty sure you didn't. I know you didn't.
Yeah, or I'm not going back and rewatching this shit. See, this is the part of the week that gets boring. I mean, okay. How many NXT does not know what else to do.
No,
because they keep we're going back to Ricky Saints, Oba, Trick. Even Miles Bourne, I mean, he's somebody new that's getting seasoned in there, but the same fucking three. Gold Rush was, it didn't hit. It didn't hit. I thought the matches were fine, but overall NXT just hasn't been it for me. But we're talking about that specifically. I think, why would you put the title back on Oba? Well, you're taking steps backwards here, NXT. All this is taking steps backwards. You're not taking steps forward with any of these people. Oba, why? Well, you're not making this guy, like, going back to Ricky Saints, Trick, and all this. Same thing with Trick. Like you said, he should be up in the main roster right now. I don't even think Ricky should be in NXT that long. Everything is backwards. That's it with these three. It's what it seems like. It seems like it's the same shit every week. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's bad. Like Obafemi and Ricky Saints both had really, really strong promos. Like you said, I think Obo's was better. He sounded like he was really, really hungry to win back that title. And Ricky's really confident, and that makes him, it makes it interesting. I get that. But we see it all the time, and it's like, what does Obafemi winning back the NXT title do for him? It doesn't do shit. what does Ricky Saints losing it and then winning it back? It doesn't do anything. And then Trick is just involved to be involved. And then don't even think about Javon Evans because you're taking a step backwards for him as well if you add him into this Iron Survivor. So it's all good, but it's this. It's does that make sense? You're not taking a step.
They don't have
taking a step backwards.
They don't have other men
No.
currently right now to be in the main event picture.
No,
They're
so
lacking-
instead of so
lacking
you
men.
signed Joe Hendry instead of having him play fucking mixed tag team with Thea Hale. Use him. We haven't seen this guy. When was the last pay-per-view we really seen this? Was it Slammiversary? He wasn't
I
at
believe
Bound
it-
for Glory. He wasn't at. He might have done one
Emer-
thing at like
I think
Emergence.
Emergence against Eric Young. I think that's when the last time we saw him wrestle. I believe that's the last time in a premium live event
So
pay
it's
per view.
like what do you do? What are you doing with this guy? Get him involved. Get new faces in this in NXT or more. So I don't. That's my only thing with not this segment, but NXT as a whole. And the main event was the only thing in this match that I gave a damn about was the main event.
And this is why with the men's division, I've been a big advocate proponent where they should have done a Halloween Havoc. They should have had Mike Santana defend his TNA World Title against Travion Heights if you want, because they have a mutual respect. They had a good matchup. Mike Santana's first match on WWE television on NXT that Tuesday was against Travion Heights, and it was a bang of a match. They had a mutual show of respect. They could have played it where, hey, I need a rematch with you, bro, and they could have gave that a Halloween Havoc. Mike could have gotten his title defense on a big platform where people were going to see, especially what we saw last Thursday, the way he got robbed by NXT talent. And they could have said, you know what, NXT talent says, oh, is that easy to get a title match from you, Mike? They went in and cost them. They could have played that with the storyline, and then you would have been, you know what, the cod liver pill would have been easier to swallow of the way they did that, where it just came out of nowhere and attacked Santana and Frankie Kazarian clashes in. They could have done that in Halloween Havoc and tied it in, but I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I don't know where they're going, but they could have done that where Travion gets a title match, and then they could have cut in their promo the attackers from Robert Stone. Well, anyone can get a title in TNA. Well, with Travion at Halloween Havoc, and then you could just say that's why they interfered and they interrupted and attacked. You could have made it make sense, tying it in. But again, I don't know why Mike did not defend his title, especially in Fort Lauderdale. There's a lot of Hispanics in Fort Lauderdale. There's a lot of Boricuas where they went to see Mike Santana in his first title defense against Travion Heights. I've been a proponent of Mike winning the NXT men's title. You add something different, let him capture the title for NXT as a TNA wrestler, and while you start building your heels or the other wrestlers until Jasper Troy decides to get ready, whatever the case is, or others, when they start getting ready, he's not there yet. And then when the time comes, he does the job and goes back to TNA. But he has a title run in the eyes of the WWE, and see where that goes. TV ratings will probably get better instead of getting the recycled stuff for Ricky Saints and Obafemi and Trick Williams. It's like they're in a vortex of the same. Give us something different, like you said, Joe Hendry, down Santana, stuff like that. But I don't know where they'll go with that. I don't know how and which way they'll go with it. One thing I did like about NXT on Gold Rush, for me as an old gentleman watching it, they were in Madison Square Garden. They did a callback. They did a callback, and I said it live on the stream. Arnold Skolin, Bob Backlund, where we saw Zarya throwing the white towel for her friend Soruka. They're playing this. This is the most longest played out story in NXT. We all know one of them is going to turn heel. I said, you know what? I'm going to cut the tree. This tree is not giving me any fruit when it comes to the Zarya turning heel on Soruka. I think Soul is going to turn heel on Zarya, because my goodness, it's starting to build and build and build. And when we getting this, talk about slow build, Chris.
Dude, I don't know how long you've been saying that this heel turn should happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't really care for it to happen at this point. When it happens, like, oh, finally.
That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel.
But
it's like Zarya needs this. Zarya doesn't need the baby face lovey-dovey. She doesn't need. She needs to go out there and be this badass to go out there and destroy and seek and destroy. Seriously,
Mhm.
seek and destroy. That's what she is. But I think they're gonna do the opposite. I think it's gonna be So who's gonna be, because So was a little bit snotty or snikey that her pride got her as double champion, something that she doesn't know about. Like, ooh, that's kind of heelish. Like you throwing that in her face, unless if her attitude causes Zarya to snap, But I don't know where they go with that. Let's go to the big thing that happened that night was JC Jane, Tatum Paxley, the culling, where we knew this was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen this premature, this quick. Tatum loses her title due to the fact of Izzy Dane kicking her and the calling, not letting her back in the ring. Madison Square Garden. I said this. I did this on a video. We got to give JC Jane a lot of props and credit. She went two out of her 3 world title reigns were in New York City, or capturing gold at the UBS Arena for Slammiversary, here at the Theater Madison Square Garden, and also beating one of the hottest women's wrestler. To me, I think she is the breakout women's wrestler of 2025. It's JC Jane becoming a 2-time NXT world champion. If you had any doubt in her, I don't know what else she needs to prove to you, because the title on JC Jane works. It works, Chris. I'm sorry. I like Tater Tots. It was a cute moment. I've said it time and time again, but she wasn't really going. It's like, okay, that was a cute moment. Hand it back. That's what I felt, Chris. I hate to say that.
No, it wasn't a bad match. I like the finish. It was actually Tatum. I think it was Tatum. One of the best. I think it was the best Tatum Paxley match I have ever watched personally. I know you probably seen better matches with her when you used to go to NXT a lot, but this was the best match that I have personally seen her in. It was a good main event. Again, JC Jane. She is, I believe, like the 3rd or 4th 2-time NXT champion, 2-time NXT women's champion. I know Charlotte, Roxanne, and I've one more other, but so she's making history. So it's good. I like JC again. With her, it works. She's a good heel. She is good on the mic. She's grew on me since I've seen her, participate with TNA. So yeah, this was the good move. And obviously Izzy Dame, turning on her makes sense. I think it's a classic jealousy thing where Dame being jealous that she was the champion when obviously Izzy should have think it was her. And then, Tatum finally trusted the culling and they turn on her. So that's just going to go back. And, Tatum has that thing with her, right? She has trust issues. She's in the back, this and that. So now we'll see where that goes. We're going to see the story going on between these two. I think it's a good story in the card that doesn't need a title. Because not everything does. So, but I liked it. I liked the main event. That was the only thing on this show that I really cared about. And I thought the outcome was good. It was again it was the best match I've seen Tatum Paxley. So it was a really, really good heel versus babyface match.
And Litz, you didn't like Dark State? I got to give Dark State this credit versus Leon and
Lee. I mean, of course, I'm gonna like it when Leon and Javon are in it, but the match was fine.
That Doomsday device for the finisher.
I know you liked it.
That was great. That was a great move. That
was the second best match of the night, or second best thing. Period, in my opinion. I thought the main event was better, but that match was really, really good. Leon and Javon, obviously they're entertaining as fuck. So. That match was fine. I got nothing bad to say about it, but I thought the main event had more interest, just to me personally.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, but I wanted to give them their flowers for, as much as negativity or ridicule that Dark States get. Listen, I said it on my video during the week. Sugars and Cutler James don't hit it. They gotta go. The two stars on that is Lewis and Griffin. Them doing that Doomsday device, the way they didn't botch it, they executed it really smooth and on them was great. I like how they told that story where accidental, the non-natural tag team actually made a little bit of a slippage of a blunder there with the frog splash hit, and they used it to their advantage to defend their title. Dark State slowly but surely solidifying themselves as a credible tag team with beating the Hardys, now beating Leon, and although they're not really a tag team, but they're two wrestlers that are out of this world in talent. That Dark State match versus OTM is going to be a hard hitting banger rematch when it happens. Hopefully, they slowly build with their collision course and build up a little bit of OTM so people can get behind and care. The Performance Center will. The Performance Center crowd will be behind Bronco and Lucius Day because Bronco's beloved in that community there in Orlando. Dude is cool and so forth. But I'm talking about the IWC, the wrestling world around. Hopefully they start getting the build for Bronco and Lucius, and when they do go up against them, it's gonna be like, oh damn, and they're gonna put on some hard hitting banger rematch for those four gentlemen because OTM is hungry. Like they literally say that. That's their moniker, but those guys are hungry, eager to get better in the wrestling ring. Knowing Bronco, knowing them, yeah, they really are. They live that gimmick. They're really hungry and starving going forward for that. Week 2 of Gold Rush. The spoilers are out. It is what it is. We're not even going to talk about that. We're going to move on. And it's going to be interesting to see Gold Rush. Let's go to TNA before we get to All Elite Wrestling because they have a go-home show. But we're going to talk about TNA Wrestling right now. So it's total nonstop action. TNA, their tapings from Full Sail University. Got to see a lot of different things that let's go with the Mike Santana talk. Mike Santana cut the promo. And look, I had that promo in my phone since Saturday when he did it live, and you didn't see me post it anywhere.
I saw it already Saturday. That's why I didn't even that's when I rewatched it. I didn't watch that promo because I saw it already.
But here's my point. I could have easily put it on online, easily spoiled it for the engagements, for the followers. I'm at like under 200 followers on my new X account. I could have easily put that there if I wanted to clickbait and I wanted people to follow me and get all that and clout chase. No, because that's not the right thing to do. It was supposed to air this Thursday. Chris, because you're part of my channel, and I ask you, I'm going to check this out. You need to hear how passionate and how deep Mike Santana's promo is, because we are uber Mike Santana fans, and I think that's something that you didn't want to wait to listen to because it was really deep. It was heartfelt, where Mike mentioned, and that's why I shared it with you, and I'm glad you didn't forward it like others. I didn't. That's only you and me that had that privilege to hear that. And again, I could easily divulge that. I could easily put it on my social media accounts and gotten the clicks and gotten the recognition. Ooh, look, I got an insider from him. I didn't because that's not the right thing to do. That would have been messed up for TNA to do that, and for them inviting us and the channel and all that stuff. You that's called respeto. So se llama respeto. That's called respect. And yeah, and I want to talk about that with Mike Santana. That was great. The only thing I have a little bit, he hasn't been shy of talking about his sobriety, being 1,000 days sober and clean. But they kind of use that he went to a meeting. Like, here's the one thing I cock out of it. TNA is trying to say, I don't know, we're gonna keep this title on someone who has a addiction or a issue. I didn't like that though. Why are we playing that? I know he's gonna say because he did that, but still, I mean, come on. That's the one thing that I didn't like. Eso me molestó un poquito.
I mean, it didn't bother me nearly as much as the whole thing with Ali. That was 10 times worse, in my opinion. So,
you're right.
This wasn't really nothing. But I overall, I hear you and I agree in hindsight. But the shit that they did with Ali was way worse. And no, but this was good. This was good again. I listened to this when you sent it to me last week. When you were there. It's a classic Santana promo. We've seen this all year with him, and it's good. I'm not saying I'm sick of it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's good to hear that from him because of everything. It makes sense because of all the things that's happened to him. He keeps getting screwed over. You want to hear what he has to say, so I like that. And it was a good way to open their tapings. And I know you guys were. You guys were hot in the beginning. I saw you when they put the cameras and stuff. Yeah, you were wearing. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, they did a lot of camera shots during that way too.
Look, when I know people say, well, they're setting up Mike Santana to be this great big baby face, and the chase is in the money. The money, the money's in the chase. Excuse me, I said it backwards. Oh, this is great. You guys are some Santana marks that you don't see how it goes. The guy has been chasing since January. He took on the whole system, member by member, and beat them. Remember that? And then he went through the Order 4. When you mentioned the Mustafa Ali going through that, but he wasn't champion yet, but he was climbing and going. It's like the Mortal Kombat game. When he got to the top and finally he gets there, then again, when Trick wins and he passes him in the hallway and looks at Trick Williams, Slammiversary should have been a one-on-one match, not a triple threat. That's creative booking. They were like, they stepped on it. We could go in circles again. We could go in circles all over again with
Look,
my whole.
I ranted. Look, we did this one. I'm not even gonna yell. I'm not gonna repeat myself. I did this whole thing when we did the video after he lost. You guys can go check that out and see my rant and see how I really, really feel about the whole thing. But I say it every week, and I'll say it. I'll say the short version for you guys right now. I'm tired of waiting. I've already waited. I've already saw the chase. Sorry that you guys weren't invested. Sorry you guys only hopped on the bandwagon now. I mean, we never hopped on any bandwagon, but you guys hopped on the bandwagon after Slammiversary, right before, or even that day. No, we were there during the build for that show. So if you want to come at me for what I said, fuck you, because I'm right and I was there. Literally, I was there. So I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting for that chase. It's that simple. I already waited. Me and Kev already waited. We went. We were there. Look, I'm not going to say I'm not open to what they're doing. I will be as a Santana fan, always ride or die. But don't tell me to be patient for the chase, people, because I already did. I already did.
I can't disagree with you one bit. I can't disagree with you. We waited, we chased it, and look, we weren't not that because they got popular with WWE and Slammiversary, and they were able to allow you to stream Emergence on your YouTube channel, and now you're invested in TNA there. I'm gonna say this with all respect, motherfuckers. I've been covering TNA since 2022. Since the Queen of the Ring at Slammiversary, that I say it time and time again, Deonna Purrazzo, Tasha Steele, Jordan Grace, Mia Yim, and Chelsea Green. That since that match, I've been heavily invested in TNA. Watch-alongs, pay-per-views, before they were PLE, before the name changed back to TNA, when they were Impact. That's when I was really invested in this company. So I've seen the chase, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it's not because they collaborated with WWE or because they started to allow certain people, we invited some of the fake reaction to broadcast it on their channels. No, we've been covering it since then. We've seen it. We know. But I don't go out of my way and go LOL TNA. It's just head scratching of what the hell they're doing as a fan who's been watching the product. And I've seen all different things. Different people come and go in this company with it. So I think Santana deserved better. I'm happy for Frankie Kazarian. Again, not to sound like a broken record and go over again. It's not that who is the world champion, is how they got to that world title picture. It didn't, they could, and I mentioned it earlier in a couple minutes ago in this video. If you would have had Mike take on Travion Heights or anyone at Halloween Havoc, or one of those wrestlers that even Alexis King, where okay, now they have a little bit of a animosity because Mike beat them, and then he gathered a couple of his friends to attack. If they had that in mind, that they're going to do that in Full Sail, they should have had that Halloween Havoc match for Mike, where then it makes sense that Stone and company went to attack them, in their turf and all that stuff. And then you would have been like, oh, okay, you know what? Kind of all right. Or Ariana Grace is the liaison, and we all know she's a couple with Stax. Stax had a match at Halloween Havoc against Mike Santana because she used her persuasion to her dad to get her boyfriend a title match. Then they attacked, and then you could have had that build there as well. They had an opportunity to make it full circle where it made sense, storytelling to lead into the invasion, and they failed to do that. They didn't think ahead. They didn't think of the repercussion and backlash because they were away for a month. Now they did play on the injury report. Here's one thing that I had a little bit of a worry or a little bit of a question. Mike Santana came out in the injury report with a torn UCL on his bicep. But here's the thing: is he really injured and he lost the title because of injury? But he wrestled this Saturday last night on Independence. If that's the case, you gotta hold. If he's gonna be a face of the company, and I hate to say this, Mike, we adore you. We think you're the bastard. We think you're the campeón. But if you're gonna put you on a major world title, you have to. Who am I to say? Because I'm not paying your bills. You know, I wish I could afford merchandise, but my $35 for a t-shirt ain't gonna cut the mustard for your bills. I get it. I understand that, Mike. I get it. Yo no soy loco. Yo entiendo que tiene que ser dinero. And that's why the independent scenes make you that money. But if you're gonna be the face of the company for either TNA or NXT, whatever the case, tiene que aguantar. You gotta hold back those independent matches. Because if you got injured for that while you were champion, that was my worry. When he does that moonsault on the outside, I'm like, you're champ right now. Don't get, or before he even hit the injury, before he became champion, it's like, oh, please don't get hurt. Yeah, I need you to say Mike has to drop out due to injuries. You know, I'm like, I just got to get to that finish line, Chris. I think he has to contemplate about holding back his schedule on the independency.
I mean, we've talked about that numerous of times too. Going to the whole build. And again, if you clowns online watched, you would know. It's I agree. It's a lot. And and again, we were there that weekend in Slammiversary. Dude, Independence every day leading up to Slam. He had one Friday, they had one Saturday at Coney Island. That's why he wasn't at the softball game. That's why half of those wrestlers weren't at the softball game. They're at the GCW show right before. And then something else on Friday night with the couple. Like Masha had a little show on Friday. Then she did Coney Island. Then she did Slammiversary.
They were in Poughkeepsie, New York, and then they had the Coney Island on Saturday, and then they had the Slammiversary. 3 nights in a row of wrestling.
Right. And it's like, I should have known then and there he wasn't going to win the fucking belt.
I told you. I mean, not to sound like a redundant person that we always.
That's what I'm saying. We're sorry for repeating a lot of the shit, but
I told you that Trick was going over the minute I saw that softball game. The way he interacted with the kids and the crowd. I said, Trick is going over. I was like, Trick is, and I said it with a heavy heart and sitting in that in our hotel room when we were about to watch Respect the Craft pay-per-view. Before going to sleep. Yeah, I remember telling you that. I said, he ain't going over, kid.
I know.
But look, let's talk about this TNA from Full Sail University. First and foremost, it was a great, I said it before, I'll say again, it was a great experience to be at the Full Sail University. The match that I wanted to, the Matt Cardona versus Mance Warner match, that hard-hitting, those two, they're going to leave for final resolution where they're going to have a street fight between those two. The purse for Stefan Lander came into place. Mance Warner hits him and gets the pin on Matt Cardona. Hopefully he didn't poop his pants like he did on Friday Night SmackDown. But Matt Cardona loses to Mance Warner. I was surprised on that one. When I saw that at that time, I was like, oh, Mance Warner, the Southern Psycho. I like Mance Warner. I'm one of those guys who really likes that nut job. The whole thing, and to me, it was a good one. I can't wait to see where the hell they go. Here's one that I want to talk about, though. I mean, we saw the backstage with the promos from the NXT wrestlers, by the way, those promos, we did not see it on Full Sail. We didn't see it that night at the arena. So I didn't see any of the promos. To me, it was fresh. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And seeing all the different things. I want to talk about this one here that had me scratch my head. Was JDC versus Eric Young, and if the winner gets a number one contendership, we just had Mike Santana talk about he's gonna pick one by one those NXTers, and he's gonna get his title back from Frankie Kazarian because he pretty much. And you heard Bobby in the background yell, he's on borrowed time. That's Bobby who yelled out. When the hell is Santana getting the title match back then? Next year, next time anniversary? And when they go to the UBS arena again? I mean, that's why I was like, I understand JDC is retiring. I understand he's leaving. I understand all the good stuff. But he becomes a number one contender to take on Frankie Kazarian?
I don't like it either.
In El Paso, Texas. What can I ask you a question just by asking you? What's the demographic in El Paso, Texas?
Mexican.
And what do they consider on the what ethnicity?
Hispanics.
And isn't Mike Santana Hispano? Again, not taking temperature. Low the fucking temperature. You have people in New York City who are Boricuas, Puerto Riqueño, Hispanics. You failed to give the Hispanic the championship there. Now you're in El Paso, Texas. And you're giving JDC and Frankie Kazarian a match. Take the temperature, Papa. Take the temperature. What do we do? And they already announced the card. And this final resolution is like, really? This is the match? Charlie Dempsey versus Mike Santana? Couldn't you? All right, couldn't you given us that at Halloween Havoc and then have them attack them? Like it's like we're a day late and $1 short. I can't say a penny short because they stopped manufacturing pennies. I mean,
yeah, that's right. That's funny. No, I agree though. Charlie Dempsey and Santana. I mean, why? I get it because he's part of the group that attacked him, but it really should be Lexus King and Santana. But if they were going to go down that route, but yeah, I mean, other than that, because we've been talking a lot about Santana, I think JDC getting a world title shot at Final Resolution is bullshit. Yes, I agree.
I mean, that's his way to goodbye. Swan song. Okay. Don't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if Nick Nemeth still has that call your shot. That's what
he does. Yeah.
Call your shot is totally convoluting that.
He could walk out our Final Resolution as TNA champion if he wants.
And after that appearance on Monday Night Raw, would you feel disappointed to see Nick Nemeth?
Yeah.
Would you feel bad to see Nick Nemeth as your world champion again after that pop he got at Madison Square Garden? Then this is why I worry for Mike Santana. This is why I worry about Mike Santana. Because we try to talk ourselves off the ledge after Slammiversary, and I was like, Chris, let's trust the process because if Mike wins the title, who's the heel to breathe behind him? Who's the heel to breathe on Santana's neck? Because it's not going to be Moose because he beat Moose already. It's not going to be Mustafa. He just beat Mustafa. He beat AJ Francis on that street fight. There isn't any heel to breathe on Mike Santana's neck, and they wanted to prolong it. They swerved us with Trick coming in and winning the title. We tried talking off that ledge because there was no one to breathe on Mike's neck. So they finally did it. They took it off. Now I'm going to ask this question. I am a little concerned where Mike Santana gets the opportunity for the TNA World Title. I don't see it because they haven't announced their television deal, which now AMC or others are up on the forefront for them to get a television deal to possibly go there. And after that pop at Madison Square Garden and seeing that he's known, and even Matt Cardona, would you be surprised if they actually go with Nick Nemeth as a world champion heading into the television deal or so forth like that? It's and then your opening match Cardona, Nemeth
getting
versus...
ready for that TV deal has to be the reason. See, they did it too late.
Should have been
because
Joe
if you didn't want Santana as your champion going into the TV deal, why didn't you have him get his moment at New York? See that
exactly.
I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it just that's what it is. That's what it is with that.
Because he could have won in New York. You would have got a whole new New York audience excited for TNA, invested in TNA. And let's say whatever happens here, let's say he would have lost at Full Sail. We'd have been like, okay, He was champion. So he had his moment. He lost in Full Sail in a big historic wrestling venue. All right, and then the new TV deal with Kazarian, whatever they go, and it would have been, it still would have been a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow, but it wasn't that much of a, it wasn't an enema that they gave you, a TNA enema. It was a bitter pill, and that's why we're like, we scratch our heads, like, what are we doing? What are we thinking? You know, and I know they don't have to explain everything for us, and then they talked about and the main thing that came out of that Full Sail University, it wasn't all that. It was the fan that was recording and putting segment by segment, and I'm glad TNA scrambled it from it wasn't there. But bro, if you see, and I wish you were on Thursday with me, bro. You see the guy doing the videos right in front of us on live television, bro, on TNA, and I kept saying that on my watch.
I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't know. See, I saw people obviously recording.
Right, but
when I
and you see him,
I don't know who it is.
And you see him typing away in the front row. I'm like, oh
God, I gotta go rewatch that. Yeah,
I mean, I mean, it's
that's
like.
crazy.
But I don't know when, and I had a question. When did they throw him out? Because that JDC match was the last match of the whole entire double taping.
So they definitely rearranged a lot of things then.
They rearranged that. But he didn't get thrown out during the course of the night, I don't think. I think he saw the whole venue and wanted a refund. I mean, you saw the whole thing. You spoiled the whole thing, pal. I don't know. It was weird. But TNA, they got another one coming up this Thursday. This Thursday is gonna be fun because you're gonna like. If you have a chance to watch, you're gonna like it. Of course, it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah. I know what you're talking. Oh, dude, I was dying when you sent me that video. That was funny.
Let me ask this: are you shocked that Xia Brookside, number one contender, she won a fatal 4-way versus Killer Kelly, Victoria Crawford, and Jody Threat?
Yeah, I am a little surprised about that.
Well, Jody Threat's contract is up December 1st,
I know that, but I mean, I can't tell you why. I'm not. Never mind. I can't tell you why. I'll tell you off air, but I can't tell you why. Because now it makes too much sense. You know what I'm talking about. And
then we get in the other triple threat and of course fatal 4-way, Danny Nuna. Actually, I thought that was pro for Indy Hartwell to win. You know, but yes. Danny using the chain. You gotta watch that match again slowly and listen to all my comedy with Rosemary. You got
that was you.
Yeah,
because there was a span. It sounded like it was like an.
That's me. That was me.
I had the commentary on. Yeah.
Está haciendo el Ave Maria. Rosemary's praying the Hail Mary. Oh yeah, it was a fun match with Rosemary. The Rosemary was over. We got Rosemary. We were cheering for Rosemary because we were just saying it with the Spanish accent. Rosemary. Yeah. And I got to see her in the parking lot, by the way. That was cool to see Rosemary. I saw Agent Zero, Bill Cutler in the parking lot as well. Bro, you couldn't tell because he was covered up, and then until I said, "Oh, Agent Zero, what's going on?" And I forgot his name was Bill. At the moment, I just called him Agent Zero at the moment because it's like, oh damn, he was going quick to his car, so I didn't want to. He's also a big dude. You don't want to you get punched in the mouth. Yeah. On there, yeah. So it was a good time there. I said it again, and I'll say it again. TNA was very fun for the Full Sail event, for the live event. I went 2 out of the 3 nights. I can't thank TNA enough. Appreciate them again. I say this stream after stream. Appreciate everyone from Carlos Silva to Ross Foreman to security there, everyone there. They were cool. I didn't get to meet Tommy Dreamer. I was going to say hi, but he was having a conversation. But I didn't get to see Tommy. He was having a conversation. I saw him next time. I think he's busy. Of course, Matthew Redwall and as well Tom Hannafin. Got to see all of them. That was cool to see that. Let's go. Final segment here, where we had Ariel Helwani having a conversation with TNA president AEW's Tony Khan. And my goodness, the holidays are starting off with some beautiful word salad, freshly tossed word salad between Tony Khan and Ariel Helwani. Look, they both were adults and they both had a conversation live in studio. That's what I take out of it, Chris. We're not gonna get too much into it.
I don't take much.
That's what I got out of it.
It was whatever. It was better than the first one. That's all I got. That's all I got for it. Yeah, that's all I got for that interview. It's better than the first one. Way better than the first one. And they talked.
They talked about their show that's happening this evening. Full Gear. at a Prudential Center. So, but they were in Boston, Massachusetts, the home of the CEO. 3-hour block. It was Dynamite and Collision. Bro, they only had 3,500 people in the arena. Last time they had almost 9,000 for big business.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't that. I didn't care for the show. I don't care for the whole card really because it's all repeats. And I had something right here. I gotta find it. But like tonight, like I don't want to. Dynamite wasn't good like always. It didn't really hit. Obviously we saw some things with like Omega and building up to their matches with him, Jack Perry. We had it, but it was a 3 hours. We watched it backstage. I didn't like it, man. Like I didn't like I don't even know where to like I don't even know what stood out that I would talk about. MVP and Speedball. That should be a better it was an okay match. That was probably
Benjamin.
Sean Benjamin, that's what I meant. Yeah, Sean Benjamin versus Speedball. That was fine, I guess. But you go right into Moxley and Claudio and Orange Cassidy and Roderick, and it's like, how many times are we gonna see the blood and guts teams go at it and all this stuff? Like, it's so they don't know what they're doing.
But to be fair, it's like seeing LA Knight versus Division. To be fair.
Mhm.
Different or Jey Uso, different remnants or similarities. To be fair, both wrestling companies do that a lot. They go and like we were talking about Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Ricky Saints. That triangle. Now they added a fourth member to that whole to that soup to that stew. And it felt like that was the same thing when it came, like you said, with the Death Riders situation and different angles. Everyone's waiting for the shoe to drop, for the Death Riders to drop. Moxley ain't happening, dude. It's like I think we have a better chance of Zarya turning heel before they drop John Moxley.
No, and it's like I don't understand what they're trying to do here overall because see this show really didn't do much to build for Full Gear like they usually do. But guys, because I can't put it in here, I want to show you this. I'm going to show you guys this picture, and you guys are going to tell me why if you blame me for not getting invested into this. Oh wait, if I can pull it up, but it's okay. If I can't, I'm just going to tell you guys what it is. So okay, right here, boom.
Here we go, ladies and
Look
gentlemen.
at this card. It's all repeats of shit we've seen the last couple of months, guys. We saw this match at Wrestle Dream. We're getting it tonight. We saw like Full Gear last year. Like, what are we doing? These are all, except this one, these are all recent.
Don't take off the picture for a moment. Hold on, Chris.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. We know the results on the first time they matched. Who do you think the only other than FTR winning the titles? I think everything else stays the same. Maybe Kyle O'Reilly beats John Moxley. Maybe.
I agree.
But
I don't see. No, I don't see. Yeah, I don't see Mark Briscoe beating Kyle Fletcher. They didn't like. It's gonna be the same result we got from all these matches you guys see over here. We're gonna get the same result. Now, if FTR does, I wouldn't be surprised if that. I agree 100%. And you know what sucks about tonight? She's gonna have every single championship in that company.
Killing the women's division. She's destroying it. Everyone
If
says,
she
"Oh, that's
wins
great."
tonight, she's going to have all the titles. Tell me why. Again, if you guys blame me for not wanting to watch this card tonight. If you blame anybody for not wanting to watch this card tonight.
Don't forget, AAA Mexico. AAA on the WWE channel will be on at 10 o'clock from Alliance. So you don't have to pay the $49.99. You can watch it. You can watch AAA tonight. AAA will be on YouTube. No cost, free. Not $49.99, not $12.99, not $9.99. Free on the WWE Latin channel. You'll be seeing it live as it happens. So you have an alternative to watch. Counter programming. If you want to watch, look, I don't think FTR is going to win those tag team titles. I don't think Brodito experiments has come to as that's done. It'll be nice if they hold. I'll be pleasantly surprised if Brodito holds on to the tag team titles there. The only thing I can see, look, John Moxley's gonna probably beat Kyle O'Reilly, and I don't want to be surprised if Gabe Kidd comes out and all the plunder and all the nonsense and all this and that, or something along the line. Wouldn't even be surprised. I'm gonna say this here. Wouldn't even be surprised if Karrion Kross comes out and helps John Moxley. Oh, and everybody could get that. And Full Gear was one of the greatest because why? Because you got a new debuting superstar. That's the tradition of the sickos. If you give them a new debuting WWE star, the card is the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I think a lot of wrestling fans are conditioned like that in general,
and not just the sickos, and even WWE fans. Yes,
but
they don't get.
But I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But I mean, in this sense, it would make this show better because I just showed you guys this shit's repeat. It's a repeat of all the matches from Wrestle Dream or matches we've seen on Dynamite of the last couple of months. So I don't know, man. If you're watching Full Gear tonight, salute to you. I just don't. I don't. You're not getting $50 from me if I'm not interested. It's that simple.
Fair.
It's that simple. I'll see the results. Maybe I'll watch it some way, but no way I'm giving AEW $50 for that shit tonight. And because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If it was like a good card, whatever. The only thing tonight that's gonna be interesting to look forward to, bro, is if MJF comes back. That's it.
You don't want to see you don't want to see the national champion?
I don't give a fuck about the national champion. Cool, you're in AEW. Here's a championship for you. Here's a championship for you. If you want to come to AEW, if you want to become a champion, just go to AEW.
Oh damn.
That's what it is. Laughable because wow. But if you're watching tonight, God bless you, because I will not. I'll check it out a little bit, but no, don't care about what's going on. They're overdoing that fucking gauntlet battle royal thing, which should be only for your biggest show of the year and All In, and they're abusing it. So
actually, to be honest with you, it should be double. I like it more for double or nothing because it feels like a casino.
I agree. Double or Nothing's my favorite pay-per-view. I don't care how bad a Double or Nothing card is. That's the one pay-per-view I don't miss. I fucking
not only that, but that casino gauntlet with the chip.
No,
and all
I
that,
agree. No,
that should be
it
there.
Was good. I loved when they, when they first brought the concept. It was great. I agree. But they didn't do Double or Nothing in Vegas this year, so that's why they didn't do the casino gauntlet over there.
Fair. And then let's talk about this Paul Turner mess up. Look, shit happened. Paul Turner's mess up with the Mike Speedball gets that super kick for Benjamin, and it should have been the finish of the match. And Paul Turner said it wasn't. He said his shoulder picked out with. Don't know if it's on the talent or what, but just look, that's a mishap. Everybody was going crazy with the Nia Jax situation. At least Nia Jax attempted to kick out, even though afterwards and after the 3, and it was a miscommunication or whatever the case was.
That was
mistakes happen.
Speedball did not kick out.
No, he didn't kick out. Period. And then MVP got in the ring and says no, it wasn't. And then it was just looked at like, oh my goodness. And then another situation that they keep having issues with. And all right, that I can't get too much of killing AEW. Shit happens with the lack of pin. We saw that. But when Don Callis was in the backstage with the Young Bucks with Renee Paquette, and then he goes, "I'll do your announcement," and then Young Buck, here comes the Young Bucks ready to come out, and then you hear Renee Paquette, "Get him a microphone!" I was like, what the hell are we doing? Oh my goodness. That's something that you shouldn't be having. Seriously. No matter 5 years, 6 years, you shouldn't be having those kind of production issues. Get him a microphone. It was like, what the hell? What are we doing here? Like, really? I mean, it just... Then that's why this company gets ridiculed, because they want to push the cart before the horse. And then when things happen like that, people ridicule them. All in all, the ratings showed that the feeling was restored. They're back to 499,000 viewers. Back again. That was an anomaly for Blood and Guts. And if you're celebrating at 600,000 viewers for Blood and Guts, God bless you guys. You know,
I was disappointing in their Blood and Guts rating.
that should have been easily 850.
Blood and Guts, bro. Blood and Guts, you usually gets around like 750, 800. Like the last couple Blood and Guts last. Like it's so crazy how it's dropped from the last couple of years they've done Blood and Guts because
not only viewership, attendance. People don't want it. People didn't want to go there. Now, Chris, I'm gonna.
What was it? 17? No, not 17. They did a crazy amount for Sting's retirement in that same building and probably got like 5,000 people.
Yeah,
and they had but almost double that, 15,000 in that building for Sting.
But tonight in Massachusetts, I'm gonna actually come to a little bit of AEW's defense, just a little bit, and I'm not the AEW guy. Massachusetts might have been out flooded with the market because they had Bound for Glory there. They just had John Cena's retirement and they filled the building. Times are tough financially. And then you have an AEW show there. I could understand. I'm going to give them the pass why people didn't go and purchase those tickets.
That's fair.
I'm going to give them that pass, that mulligan. Maybe that's another way of their counter programming. WWE and TNA, we're going to markets with NXT, where AEW probably be at, and try to outprice, and people have to pick and choose which show they're going to go to, and there's not enough money to go all of them. Look, as much as we are wrestling diehards, we cannot go to every show. And look, I want to go to Sanford tonight for NXT Live. I can't afford it. I did you know what? I had a whole weekend of wrestling last weekend. I got to pick and choose. Things are tight. People, just imagine, this is a reasonable price for NXT Live. Imagine those tickets for Bound for Glory as well as Monday Night Raw, and then for Dynamite in Boston. People might have been like, you know what? I don't have enough pick and choose. I don't have enough money. I'm gonna go spend my hard-earned money. I'm gonna go see John Cena, or I'm gonna go Bound for Glory because I'm invested, and that's their biggest show for TNA. And then AEW got a little bit assed out in that market.
I agree.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what happened. But the women's tournament continued. Timeless Tony Storm and Mia Shirokata. She doesn't feel timeless anymore. Now she feels like a mime, a clown, a mime.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't, And I love how everyone keeps saying this. Oh, I love how Tony took that 50s gimmick and she made it hers and original. She did not. All she's doing is playing the same role that she was cast in Queen of the Ring show. That's it. She liked the role that she played for Hollywood in that movie. She brought it onto AEW's television, and whoever did the script for the movie, Tony borrowed from that character. She stood in character from a Hollywood movie show opportunity, and she brought it to AEW. It was no originality. It wasn't no RJ City who came up with it. It was whoever did the movie. The writers and the creator of that movie, and AEW benefit from it. That's just my opinion. Take it, come at me, but I'm sticking to it. She made it work, and now it's tireless. Because now she's turning into a mime, a clown.
It's so boring. She's so boring, man. This match was so boring. I could have fell asleep when we were watching this backstage.
But Tony advances with Mina Melons, in the words of Jim Cornette. And they win. They're gonna move on. I don't know where to go with this show no more. I'm not interested in Hangman and Samoa Joe. I couldn't. And people continue to say, everyone with Hangman, when is Hangman gonna lose the show? When is Hangman gonna lose the? Oh, we got Manelio Knob in the building. Thank you for joining us, pal. Good morning, good afternoon, and all that good stuff. Always see your morning greets. Appreciate you, man. Always see your morning greets and your evening good night. So wanted to shout you out, man. I wanted to give you that shout out. Thank you so much, man. You're a cool dude out there. You and Powerful King always holding it down for us there. Always wanted to acknowledge you guys. I get to acknowledge you now on our YouTube channel, which is cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, Chris. And I was talking about this here with Hangman being the world champion. They're another creative that I don't get it. And this is a hot take. I've said this many times. To me, they call Sting the icon. The icon Sting, the icon this, and to me, I call him the pendejo Sting. He's up. You know why he's a pendejo? Because he
Wow.
never was the face of WCW. He was a pendejo to let Ric Flair be the face, Lex Luger, Hogan, Nash. He should have been selfish. Say, no, I'm the face of this company. I'm the draw of WCW. I'm gonna be the face, and he didn't. He was like a pendejo. Okay, the same thing. He took over his protege Darby Allin. Darby Allin is becoming the pendejo of AEW because Darby Allin should be the face, and he fucking bleeds for that company buckets and does stupid shit, puts himself on fire, almost drowned, almost died going up a mountain to plant a flag, and the son of a bitch is not even thought about as a world champion. He's got to be a little selfishness, just a little, and he should have been the face of the company. Hangman doesn't work as champion. This is his second or title reign, and everyone is already booking for him to lose it. It should have been him coming back or all out and winning the title. The big mistake in Texas for Hangman to win because he's not help. I'm not a fan. He's not hitting for you sickos. It should have been Darby. Darby should be the champion, but he's playing the role of his mentor, Sting, el gran pendejo.
If this was in my era where I was a sicko, I would be here screaming and complaining because I agree 100%. Darby should be the face of that fucking company. With Ospreay and Swerve and everybody out, it should be Darby Allin. But there's something that Tony doesn't see in the kid, which is ridiculous.
You think it's Tony? I don't think it's. I think Darby doesn't want it. By me, I know he don't want it. To me, he's got that Sting syndrome. Sting never wanted it. Sting never showed you that he wanted it. Okay, wherever you want me to go, boss, I'll be the company man.
You know what? Maybe because we heard that report back in the day where it was like Ospreay and Hangman were both vouching for each other to win. Like Hangman wanted Ospreay to win the Owen, and Ospreay wanted Hangman to win the Owen, and they couldn't come to an agreement. So it feels like nobody wants to be the face of that company.
No, like it's like when you're in love with your girlfriend or your future wife, you're like, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up first, no, you hang up first. That's what it feels like. No, you win, no, I win. Somebody win. Darby should be the face of the company. And was he busy taking on Pac? He's gonna have Pac tonight in the full gear. Pac, but this guy is there. Darby's there. I don't get where Darby's pussyfooting with the.
I think they're waiting for MJF and Hangman.
Okay.
So MJF doesn't come back tonight, I'm going to be a little pissed. But if he comes back tonight, okay, do that and then have Darby fight whoever wins that match.
But you know what frustrates me? Because MJF should come back and beat the Hangman. And then Bobby Lashley should take the title. Why are we already booking MJF to drop the title? If you're waiting this long and you're invested for MJF, I need MJF to go about 6 to 8 months with the world title.
I agree.
Not just 2 weeks, not just a month, and everybody clamoring for Bobby Lashley to take the title from him because they have the history. If you're going to go that route, you got to make MJF elevate that company and give it time for him to see if he brings A, more people to the building, B, story and investment on the television side. Then you make your move. But if you're gonna make it hot shotting because the sickos are calling for Bobby Lashley, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow your audience. You're not gonna grow people wanting to watch. If MJF is your champion, who the hell is gonna beat this son of a bitch who talks shit on the mic and this and this and that? Then people are gonna want to go see. People want to go see. That's why the bloodline worked at their heyday. Because people were paying not just to see Roman Reigns talk about it, to be who was going to be the dignified talent that was going to end the reign of Roman. And they have to do that a little bit here with MJF, in my opinion. If they want to grow the company, if they want to grow, because he's the strongest one on the mic, promo-wise, and he's a freaking great in-ring wrestler. You have to, because Hangman doesn't sell you tickets. Samoa Joe, I don't know if you want to do it with Samoa Joe as a world champion, but he's convoluted with the triple threat, with the trios title. Like, it's just, they pigeon themselves in a creative hole. I don't know. Or let me ask you this. Do they circumvent that he has to ask for a week in notice to cash in? Or does he cash in tonight at the Prudential Center when that show ends tonight? MJF World Champion.
I would like for him to do that. it would make it more interesting. I think for MJF. If you want the title off Hangman right away, that'd be a good reason too. But MJF, he needs the freaking championship, bro. AEW needs him as champion. I know we want Darby. I know that some fans wanted Hangman, but MJF is really the guy that should be champion, if I'm being honest. So if he does come out there tonight and leaves New Jersey, which, he's from the New York, New Jersey area, it's close enough. So, yeah, that'd be great.
But here's the problem: the owner, are they going to forget, or are they going to act like they have amnesia? Because he says you need a week's notice. You need a week's notice to give for the world title picture, which is so lame.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I hope it's not like that. We see it in TNA. Obviously, they didn't give a week's notice, so hopefully they don't do that with MJF.
I don't know. They're gonna get heat, but if for him not waiting the week and lying and saying, "Oh, creative flaws," but it's been more than 90 days since that happened. Hopefully, people tend to forget, but the sickos don't. But at the end of the day, it would be a good idea for MJF to be the world champion tonight at Full Gear. But we'll see. I don't think they'll go that route, but that's wishful thinking for them. Dude, are you not excited for the barbecue brawl?
I don't care about this show at all.
Rapunky Vice taking on the sponsored by Costco's hot dogs, the Boom family, AJ Big Boom, Boom and Doom. That's how this company is gonna be. They had the boom and now they're doomed.
Next, the way you felt about the BDE AJ. Next, no.
Oh, all right. I hear you there. What about the workhorsemans? Taking on Eddie Kingston and Hook.
Next.
CMLL World Trios.
I don't want to upset some of our friends watching. So next.
CMLL World Trios Championship. So we're gonna get CMLL Trios. We got Team L Sky Team versus the Don Callis family.
Oh my god.
I mean, really? Have we seen El Sky Team? Who the hell are these guys? Guys, we got Máscara Cagada, and a couple others in the mask. My goodness. Here's another one. Money match. This is a tailgate brawl 4-way. We got Anthony Bowens and Mass Caster, the Outrunners, the Bang Bang Gang.
They hate each other.
Big Bill and Brian Keefe for $200,000.
Anthony Bowens and Max Caster don't like each other. Why are they fucking teaming? Why didn't we get this angle between them having the great match and one next? This is ridiculous. Come on.
Listen, I don't know whether there was more scissoring in a Friday Night SmackDown or tonight here between Bowens and the Caster.
It's gonna be tonight.
All right, here we go. A four-way tag match. What's the stipulation? There's a stipulation here. I don't know what the stipulation is, but it's Mina Sophia and Megan Bain versus and Toni Storm and Mia Shirakawa, the Babes of Wraths and the Sisters of Sin. Didn't they just wrestle a couple weeks ago? All of them in the cage.
I just showed you the graphic I posted. I put up.
This one's interesting though. Shelton Benjamin goes one-on-one to determine the first ever AEW national champion against Bobby Lashley in the gauntlet match. There you go, man. That's either he's hungry or bored. And of course, all the rematch.
That's how I feel about that. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Really,
but it's a big one though. This one could put everyone back on the map. This one, $1 million match. Kenny Omega, Jurassic Express, Alexander the Bucks, the Young Bucks. They needed the money. Oh,
I hope. I don't know. Shout out Kenny, man. What are you doing wasting your time? Your time doing this shit.
Kenny Omega and the Bucks went up the hill. The Bucks came down with 1 million. Oh.
This match is gonna suck.
This card, I hope you guys enjoy it. The $49.99 in this time of the holidays season is gonna be tight for them to ask. And we all know that that website got shut down. The Stream West.
Yeah, Stream East. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to say it fully like that, but I
Uh,
know they're gone.
they're
They're
gone
gone.
anyway.
They're gone. So good luck with that one. If you got HBO Max, you can pay $39.99, and that's sponsored by DC. And I wonder why. And I got DC all over. I'm a big Superman guy, but my God, I mean, ugh. But this is it. This is what we got for this week in professional wrestling. Listen, creative all across has been lackluster. Every company is like, holy moly. Could it be because we break it down too much and there's too many opinions that people listen to? That because everyone sees it different, and you tend to hear always the negative of everybody else's stuff, and maybe that's what's hurting wrestling in 2025. Too many opinionated voices. That's up to you. But enjoy the wrestling, though. Watch it, enjoy it, and be your own. I say this, everyone that listens to my voice, be your own island of relevancy. Make your assessments, your own thoughts, your own opinions when you watch wrestling. Don't let anyone persuade or change your mind. If you think it was good and you liked it, that's your opinion. That makes you as an individual. You liked it. Just because others didn't like it or someone else did like something that you didn't like or vice versa, that's what makes us individual. Like everyone has their own fingerprint in this world. Everyone should have their own thoughts and opinion when it comes to professional wrestling. So that's what I say. Have that opinion, voice it, be respectful for one another's opinion, and agree to disagree. I always say that, and that's what makes the world, that much makes wrestling community fun. You don't have to get to the name calling and the offensiveness. Just agree to disagree, and then you have a nice spirited debate. The spirit of the debate of what you're watching in your professional wrestling lens. It doesn't matter who's the number one company, number two company, or three company. You just watch and enjoy what you watch, and be thankful that we get to watch professional wrestling almost 7 days a week, Chris. Almost 7 days a week. That's a lot. I've been looking. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of wrestling.
It is a lot, but no, fun show. Thanksgiving next week, so I don't know how much wrestling I'll probably be watching. Get ready for some stuff I got going on, but we'll see. It was a good show that we talked about a lot.
Yes, Monday Night Raw is going to be good. We'll definitely got the watch along for Monday Night Raw. We got NXT, and then we'll see where we go for Thursday and Friday, because we know we got WarGames Saturday night. So you can watch with us on the playback. Playback allows you to watch the programs with us. If you don't have the means of watching it at home, or Roku is out, or there's an argument between your provider and you can't see it, you can come watch it with us. The best way to watch playback, I always say this, is in your laptop or your computer, on your browser, because you get to see it better than on your phone. You can still watch along with us on the phone, or you can watch us on the Rumble app. You'll get to see the view. You get to watch the event live in color with us. And we'll come in a small little screen, and you get to see the wrestling event and help us grow our community. Don't forget, follow us at PGA Chris TV, at Sports Jedi Media on X. Also, definitely we got some great folks joining us. Of course, Miss Like Rain, Elise joining us as well. We got McCanary, shout out to her, as well as she's making some jackets for her. She's dabbling into the denim jacket. She's gonna construct a nice one for the Sports Jedi Network for her. That'd be cool to see how that shows up, as well as the Michelin chef takes. Chef, I haven't seen a giant video in a while, but hopefully he'll get back on the horse with the Giants and so forth. And of course, don't forget, on the Heal the Ring YouTube channel, you get once in a blue moon, like Haley's Comet, Samuel Lyons and the Samuel Lyons Express. I wanted to shout him out, brother. Salute, man. We haven't seen you talked about AEW in a while. You're missing in action. I guess he was overwhelmed catering to Obafemi while he had that internship at his store. So with that said, guys, have a great afternoon. Que me Dios me lo bendiga. Lo vemos todo. Shout out.
Represento